It's Saturday night footy time at the Gabba. A good night for footy. The Pies playing away tonight and looking for a big game. Scotty Pendlebury has won 3 of their last 4 best and fairest. What a great leader he is. And footy is back, round 1 against the Lions here at the Gabba. We look forward to that. Both sides nearly at full capacity, and you can see we stick together. I don't know whether the together sticking also good at the moment, but it's going to be a cracking game here tonight, and we look forward to seeing it. As you can see, part of that banner falling to bits before it actually got underway. Luke Darcy and Matthew Richardson.
And just noticing a bit of rain falling here at the Gabba too, Richo. It was predicted that we would get some storms, but hopefully nothing too serious. The Collingwood lineup, Travis Varco comes into the lineup, a couple of time premiership player with the Cats. And Crisp is going to be a big-bodied midfielder, former Brisbane Lion as well. And looking forward to seeing Jordan De Goey, the debutant tonight.
Cameron Ling is down in the rooms. Lingy, welcome to you.
Oh, thanks, BT. Great to be here. Really excited about tonight's games. You can see behind me, the Brisbane players are just starting to mill around at the top of the race, about to head out into the ground. Some of the strong voices, of course, Tommy Rockcliffe about to captain his first game for the Brisbane Lions. He's the really strong voice. Jed Adcock as well. Just talking to some of those younger players, making sure they're ready to go. All eyes, of course, will be on Dane Beams, making his debut for the Lions against his old team, his premiership team. They're all pretty excited to go. They're all pretty calm now, but once they hit that ground, it'll certainly be on. Yeah, 4 ins tonight, Lingy, for the Brisbane Lions that haven't previously played, and you can see them there. Matthew Richardson, what do you make of their lineup?
Oh, it's a good-looking lineup. It's improved a lot in the last 18 months under Justin Leppich. But have a look at those 3 names in the starting lineup. Robinson, Muad Hardness in the forward line, Crash and Bash. Beams, just a class midfielder, one of the best in the AFL, absolutely elite. And Alan Christensen, he can become elite. He's got some real tricks. That's their strength, their midfield. I'm just worried about where the goals are going to come from tonight for the Lions.
Just left a screen there. You can see young Jaden McGrath. His family have come all the way from Bendigo tonight, Darcy, I believe as they were driving out of Bendigo to drive up to here at very short notice, they ran past Jaden's best mate, and they told them that he was playing tonight, and they asked him whether he wanted to come. He jumped straight in the car and took off without telling his parents.
You've got to love that, don't you? The country stories, and he has been one of the real surprise brackets on debut. Jaden McGrath, who's picked 73. I mean, he's just shot the lights out over the summer. The coaches are in love with him, and as a result, he gets to play here tonight in round 1.
Just about to make their way out onto the ground. You can see Daniel Rich. He's effectively a new player. In fact, when you look at the team with Rich and Leuenberger, didn't play last year much, and then throw in Beams, Robinson, Christian, 5 good players. Even Redden, who didn't play the last half of the season either. Good crowd tonight. One of the best crowds since Vavola debuted here, I'm told, in excess of 28,000. Pre-sale tickets of 15, so it's a good crowd.
It is, Pete. So they want to recreate that fortress that they used to have up here at the Gabba in their premiership years, and it is great to see so many people here for the opening round, and they're going to be hard to beat up here this year. You mentioned Leuenberger back. Don't forget Stephen Martin's second half of last year. He would have been All-Australian ruckman if he had played the whole year, Das.
Not far off the most improved player in the competition the second half of last year, Stephen Martin, averaged 23 disposal. Let's catch up with Cameron Ling. What are you up to, Ling?
Coachy, Justin Leppich. Just good to have the footy back.
It is. It's been a bit of a wait, hasn't it? It's exciting. We've got a pretty good crowd at the Gabba. Hopefully the weather can hold off a little bit and we can have a win.
And yeah, you've got a big recruit tonight in Dane Beams. Of course, all eyes are on him. But a couple of other sort of recruits, Jack Redden, Daniel Rich, Matty Leuenberger. Great to have them all back in the team as well.
Yeah, it's about a third of our team's different, isn't it, to the end of the year? So that's exciting for us. Hopefully we can all gel well. Early form's been good pre-season, but counts for nothing, does it, until tonight.
Have you sensed Beamsy's nerves all right coming up against his old team?
No, he's been good. He's been very calm. I don't know what his insides are doing, but the outside's pretty good.
Thanks for your time, mate. All the best tonight.
Thanks, Lucky.
So controlled these days, the coaches, that is for sure. Collingwood, by the way, with their 3 ins. De Goey, who's the sub, Varco and Chris, pretty good as well. Big night for that man there, Travis Cloak, as well. 2014 perhaps didn't go the way the Pies would have liked. And with the club back in the headlines, there's plenty of pressure on the black and white.
Collingwood outside the top 8 for the first time since round 5.
This would have the sourest taste it could possibly have.
And makes it hard for the black and white. With a horror show, the nightmare is over for Collingwood.
What more can you say, really? The Pies have fallen from their perch. 3 years into the Nathan Buckley era, and Collingwood finds itself in unfamiliar territory. Hard and ruthless decisions have been made. Out with the old and in with the new. Bucks has preached patience. Be prepared to stay the course and the rewards will come. But the footy world can be unforgiving. The Magpie Army must let go of the past and comparisons with old ties. They must stand united behind their favourite side. After all, this is Nathan's side, and the buck stops here. Can the Collingwood Football Club reclaim their powerhouse status? The slate is clean. History means nothing. Let the fun and games begin. Round 1 action on Saturday Night Footy.
Yes, a big thanks, by the way, to the Goodnight Thief for his help with that portrait as well of that man there. And Collingwood fans, make sure you watch the post-match for more details on how to get your hands on that portrait. Lingy's downstairs and he wants to talk tactics. What have you got for us tonight, Lingy?
Well, BT, always love talking tactics, and I want to look at Brisbane Lions a little bit. The way they move the ball, the length of the ground. Of course, we've marvelled at the fact they've built their midfield through Alan Christensen and Dane Beams over the summer, but what they're able to do here is just keep possession, never going through the corridor, but always managing to find that overlap player, always getting a free through hard running through the middle part of the ground. And as soon as they get it to about this position on the ground, about 70 or 80 out from goal, they look for the long kick to the dangerous spot in the ground, get us Crummer, and then over the top, Matty Leuenberger is the one who manages to pick up the cheap little goal over the top, but really good, efficient ball movement. On the flip side, having a look at Collingwood and the way that they've aimed to try and improve through the off-season, they brought in this man, Levi Greenwood, to be that hard in and under player, almost to replace Luke Ball. Unfortunately, Hurdy's Legan's not going to take a part. I'm expecting this man to step up. He's a Brownlow medalist, he's a premiership player, he's an absolute champion. Dane Swan's in for a big season. He'll be trying to lead these Pies starting tonight.
Nice work, Lingy. As you see the radar, a few little showers, isolated showers, so I don't think we're going to get an absolute downpour here of any with any great time period attached to it.
It's been a fair bit of rain the last few days, BT, but these grounds now are so good, that's not really a concern.
Lingy mentioned there, I know that Collingwood in the off-season, Das and Richo were trying to recruit big-bodied midfielders. I mean, DeGoey, who's the sub tonight, is one of those. We've seen Maynard and Levi Greenwood, who's not playing tonight as well. Yep. Is that the way to go?
Well, I think so, and even Jack Crisp, who they had to come to the club as part of the Dane Beams deal. We're looking at Dane Beams. He's a big-bodied midfielder, 190 centimetres, 91 kilos. Wins the hard ball really well, Chris. So I think they just needed to add that to their mix. They rely a lot now on Steele Sidebottom and Pendlebury for that class and composure, Richard.
Yeah, well, they've lost some class players out of their last premiership team, no doubt. And there's Chris there. Travis Varco, we know what he can do. At his best, he gives you so much run. He can kick a goal. He hasn't played near his best for 18 months or so now. Collingwood would be looking for him to get back to that.
And one of the reasons I'm told that he came to the club is he felt like at Geelong, perhaps there were so many good leaders there and he couldn't get that out, whereas he's come to Collingwood, he's a senior player, premiership player, he feels he can become a leader here.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt. They've lost so much experience over the last few years, so pretty important that players like Varco do provide that, this Brisbane Lions. And good to see Leuenberger back for this team, and he'll probably play deep forward a little bit tonight with Stephen Martin in the ruck.
You're going to have the call. Call is heads the call. Over to Dylan. It's a head. Go on your fellas, well done. Enjoy the game, Dylan.
So just about set for round one here at the Gabba. Magpies and the Brisbane Lions. Been plenty of footy around the country though, Das, in the lead up to this one.
A remarkable result in from ANZ Stadium in Sydney. The Sydney Swans have got up, Richo. It's three-quarter time. They led by 34 points. That is the biggest ever three-quarter time margin the Sydney Swans have overcome. And on debut, Isaac Heaney, we've heard a lot about this young man, and this is what he's been able to do. We're watching this for the first time as well. So this is Buddy's goal. Buddy kicks one. He had a fairly quiet night, I believe, early on Michael Hurley. And then you'll see the debutant here, Richo, very shortly, Isaac Heaney.
That comeback as well, Richo, in the wet.
It's unbelievable. Does that just show that those senior Essendon players haven't had any NAB Cup practice. Did it show in the end? It probably did. That's a remarkable effort by Sydney, though.
Does it change the thought process of any of the sports science and coaches guys in the competition to say, well, Essendon have proven you don't necessarily have to do that work?
I think every player in the comp would have been barracking for no practice games,
Yes.
quite a pre-season, come out and win. Be interested to see what they're like second up. There's Mitch Robinson, former Blue. A lot of change this year, and we're seeing players in new colours for the first time a lot here in round one.
Yeah, we are, and I think he'll play up forward and just provide a real contest, crash and bash. He'll have to play a little bit taller tonight, Robinson, try and take some marks in that forward line. Probably the weakest area of this pretty new-look Brisbane team.
The other interesting thing for me tonight, we haven't spoken about too much in the build-up, is look at Dane Beams, a lot of focus on him, has been the story at Collingwood last week. We know that they've had 2 players, Richo, test positive to a performance-enhancing substance. I don't think you can get a bigger call. How do they emotionally respond? We'll get a good look at that tonight. What sort of energy do they bring to the table?
Well, it had to take the wind out of your sails, surely. A lot of the teammates would be feeling for their teammates. It's not something that you want to see any players go through with Lockie Keith and Joff Thomas.
Lingy, you've got some late news for us.
Well, this game, as you've just noticed, has just been delayed by 2 minutes because of the late start to that Essendon-Sydney game that you guys referred to. And it was unfortunate because of a Luke Parker was knocked out. Friendly fire from Lance Franklin stretched it off the ground. So that's why we've got a slightly late start.
No, nice work, Lingy, as Jordan Bannister, the umpire in the middle, gets us underway. And it's Brisbane through Taylor, with first use here at the half-forward line, and a good little pass it was to Green. And he'll line up well within range.
A couple of the Mosquito fleet getting involved early. Lewis Taylor, the rising star. And Josh Green was their leading goal kicker last year.
Green from 45 lets it go. Distance, a little bit of a problem just offline as well. Good clean start for the Lions. Langdon wearing the number 8 this year for the Pies with the kick-in duties. Immediately plays on and goes wide looking for Cloak. Both hands on it there. Quick hands out the back door was Dane Beams for his first touch in Lions colours. Side bottom, Grundy. Swan thereabouts. And Collingwood eventually get out of trouble through side bottom.
Searching kick, centre wing. Elliott in a one-on-one. And very important player is Jamie Elliott. Big Grundy covering the ground a bit better, and we'll have a boundary thrown. Interesting story about Brodie Grundy, Richo. He went to a Christmas party at his manager last year and bumped into Dean Cox and had a chat with Dean Cox about how to cover the ground better. He went home that night, he wrote some notes about it, and he feels like he's going to be able to add that to his game.
Well, he's the best ruckman of the modern era, Dean Cox, so plenty to learn off him. This is good forward pressure here by the Lions. This is going to be their strength this year.
Oxley in amongst it all there, Richo. Brisbane battling hard at their forward end of the ground at the moment. Zorko on the bottom of all that. There's Beams. Taylor just wanted to get rid of it. Adcock, the skipper. Nice bump affected on him, and now Collingwood have got a bit of space. Nathan Brown, hopefully for the Pies fans, he can play all year. And now Mr. Consistency, Pendlebury and Cloak almost should have been paid that mark. In fact, the Brisbane Lion player thought it was a mark, and the umpire said, no, it's play on, Das.
That was extraordinary. The noise here was such that Justin Clark, it is the defender, conceded the mark. When in fact, it wasn't. Daniel Rich getting involved. Now Dane Beams gets a touch of the footy in Brisbane Lions colours. Short to Merritt. He's going to play a lot in defence, we hear this year, Richo. He was a forward last year, kicked 12 goals, but his coach, Justin Lepich, settled him down back.
That's his best area. It looks like Beams and Swan are running up against each other in the midfield at the moment.
The new skipper, Rockcliffe, he's a ball magnet. Averaged 42 possessions in the last 5 games of last year. They go forward again here. An opportunity in the goal square. McStay, and he's taken a nice grab over the top of Nate Brown. Nice build-up. And Daniel McStay, you would think directly in front, can't miss the first goal of the year to Brisbane.
Well, here's the look at this Travis Cloak mark. I reckon he nearly had enough of that, and so did his opponent there. But this is a good build-up, and always good to get a nice big grab early as a key forward. And young McStay, this is a real positive for him.
Played the 9 games last year, kicked 7 goals, and McStay kicks the first of 2015 for the Brisbane Lions.
Thanks, fellas.
So there's the mark affected by McStay. Nicely done for the back, and Knew he had it covered. Good, powerful pair of hands there. Out of the middle now. Taylor Adams. Kick was smothered. So Brisbane another clearance wide. Collingwood under immediate pressure here. An opportunity for Ramsey. To the fumbles, eventually tidied up by Langdon. Now Varco. Neat kick. Hair time. Cloak. Got the Jukes out in front. Did really well.
Thank you.
Cloak driving ball. Slipping over was for Solo. Now the ground level footy. Couldn't get it back to spin enough. And just the minor score.
Nice build-up from Collingwood. Cloak is doing the hit-up job at the moment, around 70 to 80 metres out. Jesse White was closer to goal, and good for Alex Fasolo to get involved as that crumbing forward early. He's played all of the NAB challenge games in the forward line. It looks like he's going to be permanent small forward this year for the Pies.
Covering plenty of ground is Travis Cloak. So much responsibility rests on his shoulders in 2015. There's Steph Martin, Mitch Robinson, McStay, and now Zorko. Slick hands across centre wing, and now Leuenberger. Brown took his legs out. Lions fans want a free kick. Beams and Tuvey, and we'll have a bounty thrown at half forward for the Lions.
You spoke about Trav Cloak and the responsibility, Darson. He does have a big responsibility, but I reckon 6 or 7 others around him have a responsibility to kick 20 goals each and step up.
Yeah, you need support. You can't have one guy kicking all of your goals. That's not feasible in
was interesting
this day and age, BT.
Last year, Richo, he kicked, I think, 1 less goal than he did in the premiership year in 2010. So it just needs a collection of players, 7 or 8 players to assist him.
Well, that's what the best team in Hawthorn have done so well in recent years. You've got 3 players last year kicking over 50 goals, and that's the benchmark.
Just not sure where they're going to come from. I think that will evolve as this year goes on. Merritt, here's McGrath, the first game up. The boy from Bendigo.
You'd like that hairdo, BT. It's got a bit of mohawk about it.
He's got it nice and sharp for the occasion, Richo. He has. He's actually from Kerrang, of course, played with the Bendigo under-18s. McStay again, off to Leicester. Leicester, a well-directed ball. Leuenberger, hands on it. Here's Green, a little one over the top, knocked on by Zorko.
Well, the positive early is McStay. 2 nice grabs. And that was the query, as I've said a couple of times, but he's looking really good. He worked off Frost nicely there, and a quick release handball, get it in quickly to Leuenberger, and just a bit rusty, the big fella there. He might take those in a couple of weeks' time.
And Richard, it looks like Brisbane are playing a really simple brand of footy at the moment. Just any chance they get, just knock it on, use the momentum. Terrific grab there by Stephen Martin. Really simple quality footy at the moment from the Lions.
I think Lingy, with those small forwards they have, they just want to get it in and get it to ground.
Rockcliffe, the one-on-one with Langdon. Martin drove it back inside 50. Might be a Brisbane free kick here. It is to Green.
And that's an example there. Get it in quickly. Got a contest. Nothing flashy about it. Got to ground level. Green gets to the fall of the ball and gets the free kick.
Okay. So Rockcliffe pushing forward on Langdon, and then just a little overzealous maybe Jackson Ramsey, the 20-year-old. Just his 3rd game of football. This man loves a goal. Josh Green, he kicked 33 of them last year. He's their leading goal kicker. Stabs at it and might have just pushed it wide. He'll be disappointed with that. And a minor score. So the Lions, their ball movement looks impressive early in this game. They've got off to a pretty nice start.
Should have kicked 2 goals, Josh Green. Both pretty easy shots.
What do you make of their start so far, Lingy, the Lions?
Oh, very good. And this man, didn't he have a fantastic year last year? 2 big, strong grabs. That's what you want from your ruckman.
Yeah, Stephen Martin there. And
well, they're following on their trend from the NAB Cup. They're intercepting the ball, locking it into their forward line, smashing Collingwood for time in forward half. So their pre-season form has been brought into this game.
All right, Richo, they've had effectively all of their play in their half of the ground so far. Sinclair seem to be outnumbering pretty cleanly at the moment, Brisbane.
And they've got a really good setup, BT, behind the football. Daniel Merritt is the last man in line. He's completely on his own, so it's going to be hard for Collingwood to get through at the moment.
Beams had a bit of a fresh area. Here's side bottom, one of his close mates. Sinclair from the standing start. A little bit of a panic kick, but there was a lot of pressure around him. Now Grundy. Old sack in there. Going to be a man that fills many positions this year. Christensen looking for the free. Swans all over him. Nothing coming for him there.
So let's have a look at Christensen. And the umpire, full credit, he saw that the head thrown back was A little bit of overacting there from the former Cat and Christensen. Look at Pendlebury. The game just slows down when that man gets the footy. Slices his way through traffic. And reading the footy nicely back there is Justin Clark.
Some good signs from these young key players, McStay and Clark. They're the bookends at either end, getting involved early.
I think he's a really improving player, Clark. He'll be a good defender. Free kick maybe for Beams. McGrath the first game of Christensen. This is ball movement we're talking about. They're going to get some good speed out of Christensen. Martin a little fumble. Swan gets back to lend some support. But it's going to come back again. Leicester's got time, he's got space, and he's got Paparone short.
Yep. Paparone just slows it down, sees McGrath in the middle of the ground and finds him without a problem. So he looks like he's pretty comfortable at this level. Does the youngster in McGrath. Clay Beams now. Got past 1-2. Now, if you take them on, you must dispose of the footy just in the nick of time. Langdon tries to back in. Green with the wraparound tackle. Players really putting their head over the footy. The kick by Marley Williams didn't clear the pack, and now Collingwood through side bottom in the last line of defence.
Well, this is one of the first chances they've had now to control the football. That was only their third and fourth mark for the quarter, whereas 17 to the Brisbane Lions. They can get some control here. They've got to be careful, though.
Bit of risk on the kick from Swan, but it opens up the play here. Jesse White. Now Varco. We've seen this a lot in the Geelong colours. Pendlebury will always find a man. Cloak's capable from here. He wound up, and he didn't make any sort of connection that he was hoping for, and kicked it out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, in his defence, Stas, as you said, he could kick the goal. He had an open goal square, but he also had Goldsack running into space, and for Solo on a lead, just needed a little bit more composure.
I think he almost heard you, Das. I think he thought, yeah, I can go from here, especially on the run, and just didn't quite nail it. Paparone. Opportunity in front there. McStay. So Redden's got the free.
Let him up.
A man that didn't play really the second half of the year, so he's like a new player to Brisbane this year as well. McStay also good on the ground. Hands not so good. Frost through traffic. Oxley looks really cool, does Oxley. Great kick. Spots Pendlebury, no problems at all. Pendlebury short to Taylor Adams. Adams not quite within range. Centering ball here is good, and Mark will be paid, and it'll go to Crisp. He plays on against his old side and finds side bottom out the far side.
That was really good play. Pendlebury worked it inside, and they had two more passages of play to get it over to side bottom, who's had a good start to this game. Runs all day, as we know, still side bottom up and down the wing, and he is a goal kicker.
Yeah, he's just checking where the man on the mark is.
15 gone.
Umpire said he's got a couple. Gives him the 15 gone. And side bottom, as you say, Richo, is a pretty solid part of his game, this part. Set shot goal kicking, not a lot of wind here tonight, and that's a nice kick. So Collingwood get their first of the night.
Supposed to know things down here on the boundary, but Brodie Grundy's got something on his hand, and I have absolutely no idea what it is. It's some sort of contraption. Maybe there's some ice running through it and cooling a hand. Maybe he's got an injury. But guys, if anyone knows out there what that is, please tweet in, because I've got no idea.
Bit of Freddie Krueger action there. Might be a hand warmer.
He might have a little dislocated finger or something. It must, surely it's ice. They must have cold water running through that. Surely. Little hand spa. I've heard of a foot spa, a little hand spa, mate.
Daniel Rich's kick was low and hard. Green almost hung on to it. Now Elliott, the boy from the Euroa Magpies. He's played with the Magpies all of his life in one way or another. Langdon, a bit of a loopy handball, gave Rich an opportunity. Now Adcock. And he has the free at half-back.
Most experienced Brisbane Lion with the retirement of Jonathan Brown. That one hung in the air a little bit, and Crisp, the former Lion, got a piece of it. It opens up now for side bottom. We know he uses the footy well. And he's found his little mate, Jared Blair. So a costly turnover. And we know Blair spends a lot of time forward. Adcock's kick just had a little too much height on it, Richo.
Yeah, that is the worst place of all time to turn the ball over. We always want to encourage players to switch the football out to the open side of the ground, but you just can't let it hang in the air that long.
So Jared Blair Played in the premiership in only his 12th game, did Jared Blair. And he kicks the second goal for the Pies.
Starting to find a way through now, Lingy, the Pies, with a bit of open space.
Yeah, they certainly are, and they're doing it by doing a really good defensive job now with Brisbane's ball movement. Cut off there by Crisp, set up that goal beautifully.
He's still got to go for it, Crisp, in the air, and there's some chance, Lingy, that he misses the ball completely and he can look silly out of it, isn't there?
Yeah, that's the decision you make, isn't it? You've got to go, but you've got to make sure you influence the play.
Grundy foraged it out. There is Crisp, the man we speak of. Marley Williams in amongst this as well. Taylor. Crisp to Grundy. Grundy, another entry inside 50 here. Dropped on the head of Elliott. A little too small to get hold of that. Oh, it's been stripped away from Rockcliffe. Picked up here by Swan. And misses left.
He can't turn the ball over there with a sloppy handball. Dane Swan normally kicks those goals. Hey, Lingy, what about the matchups in the midfield? Can you see any tags?
Oh, what a grab out there by Buick. Some great elevation. Just timed his leap to perfection over his old teammate in Crisp, and kick not.
What a sensational that mark that was by Buick. Have a look at this again. Just a great leap, great mark. Richo, you asked about those matchups in the midfield as we get it from another angle. That is one of the contenders of Mark of the Year already. The big matchup I'm looking at is Taylor Adams has got the job on Dane Beams. He's only had the 3 possessions so far. Taylor Adams trying to play really, really tight on him.
A little fumble there from Beams, Lee, so he's obviously acutely aware that Adams is the man set for him.
What was the question going in without McCaffer, who would play that role for Collingwood? And Adams is doing a good job early.
Get a good look at Stephen Martin. There's big Stephen. I'm reliably told, BT, that he is squatting. In fact, made that a deadlift 250 kilos at the moment, Steph Martin.
Dean Lucan style.
He's an animal in the gym.
Oh, come on.
That is world record type of numbers. There he is. Look at the size of him, BT. He's a man mountain and one of the most improved players in the AFL.
Oh, well, we're going to be keeping an eye on his squat and press and all sorts of things tonight.
It's a big weight, 250 kilo deadlift, I'm told.
That's massive.
It is a big Dino Lucan style. There he is, the biggest deadlifter of weight in the world, according to Das.
He is a massive unit and he covers the ground so well. Stephen Martin had 30 touches in a game late last year. He's a ruckman.
Surprised Jesse White hasn't come to compete in the ruck to give Grundy a rest when Martin goes in. Whether that'll happen later on. Merritt on the bottom of it for Solo, trying to lock it in. Here's Leicester. Now, being tried at half-back this year, Leicester, normally a midfielder. Didn't get a lot out of it in recent years as a midfielder, and I think as a result, probably that's their thinking to go to half-back. Merritt. McGrath. Caught, had to get rid of it. Back to McGrath. Needs to be clean here. He wasn't. Cloak just got him high as he slipped down.
Let him up. Let him up.
There's a lot of Collingwood fans here tonight. They weren't happy there. There's the hand cooler again.
Just word through, the Collingwood president is watching, and he said, boys can confirm that is an ice machine.
There you go.
Ice for what? The pinkies?
Well, it's interesting that we've had 2 players come off and require ice to the hand, so maybe it cools the whole body down. Maybe they're working something a little different. That I'm only theorising that maybe if you cool your hand down, the whole body recovers better, but it looks a little weird.
I can't explain it myself.
I'm not sure about it, but anyway, it must be right to us.
Yeah, obviously a good reason for it.
Leuenberger, Rockcliffe, kept it in along the boundary line. Crisp can't keep that one in further down the track. We'll have another boundary throw in here.
Neutral territory on the wing here. Grundy took well to get rid of Leuenberger. Pendlebury in there, trying to work it out the back. A backheel tap, deliberate it was, and that was a deliberate kick by Sidebottom as well. Creative play from 2 creative players. Now for Solo, long ball, got really good position here as White over the top. 3 bites, got it, plays on goal.
All clear.
Straight away, I think he knew course, his brother playing tonight for the Pies as well, Nathan Brown. So that is unfortunate news. Fingers crossed the scans might provide some better news, but it does not look good for Mitch Brown from West Coast.
And I would be thinking, if I were Collingwood, there was no way I'd want that news to get to Nathan here tonight.
No. Yeah, that's shocking news for the Eagles, especially when Eric McKenzie's already gone down in the pre-season. 2 key defenders out at round 1. That hurts the Eagles.
Midfielders just starting to get on top here now. Good mark taken by Elliott.
They are, and that's because some of the prime movers for Brisbane just cannot get their hands on the footy. Zorko, Christensen, Redden and young Aish, they have all had 2 possessions or less at this stage, so they need to get into the game, those prime movers for the Brisbane Lions.
The boy from Euroa, he's just trotted out the pinkies, and I just wonder what the Euroa Magpie boys sitting back there in the Euroa pub think of these wheels for tonight. Elliott, one of those players that needs to kick 20-odd goals this year. And that's not his best start.
It's normally a pretty good shot at goal, Jamie Elliott.
Definitely hit the post. Definitely hit the post. Thanks, back here.
Potential
level with me.
score review averted there, and I like the confidence of the goal umpire to say, no, I've got this. Hit the post, and Daniel Rich did his ACL in round 3 last year against the Gold Coast, and I'm told his recovery's been really impressive. He's playing at half-back tonight. Beautiful left foot kick there. Stephen Martin, Nathan Brown wrapped him up. The Collingwood last 5 or 6 minutes has been outstanding. Fasolo got a fist on it over the top. Now Rich, a little don't argue on Elliott, but their pressure's gone through the roof column. Here comes Swan. He tries a little fend off as well to Blair. Beams comes in. No free kick doing. And now Redden, they just need to get a bit of composure back here, the Lions. The last 3 goals have gone the way of the Pies, and they're right on top in this last little period. It's Langdon sliding in. Christensen went the other way. Ramsey picks it up, looks to the goal square. White stuck one mid out. It nearly held in his hand. Now they've got to defend hard again here, the Lions. Back there is Clark. Blair comes in. Look at the pressure from the Magpies. It's immense at the moment. And they are right on top, Richo.
Yeah, have a look at this, Richo. The Collingwood supporter deliberately rolled the ball in front of Rich there so he couldn't play on. Nice tactics from the Collingwood fans.
Yeah, well, some of them are smarter than they look, the Pies supporters.
I'm only joking. Oh, no, you're not. You're deadly serious,
I'm only joking.
Well, the Pies, as Das has alluded to, the pressure rising by the moment here. Christensen, just an opportunity to take a little air here from the Pies. Possess the footy with just under 4 minutes remaining in the quarter.
Well, it's been a tale of 2 halves this quarter. Brisbane dominated time in forward half, and now it's Collingwood's turn. Brisbane just cannot get through it. It hasn't been a wide open game of any transitional football. It's been Brisbane locked in their forward line or Collingwood down the other end.
Swan's been one of the main men to get things going here. Crisp over the top to Elliott. Waiting in the middle patiently was Pendlebury for his go. A rare time that he didn't have the clean hands there. And a ball up. I'm told that Crisp, the former Lion, now playing with the Magpies, been one of their best runners this year in the top 3 or 4 when it comes to 2K time trial.
Strength of Martin on display again. You just saw the inside 50 count. 9 of the last 10 have been Collingwood. Lewis Taylor, the rising star, when it drives him forward. Leuenberger went without the footy. Little fumble from Frost. McStay might have taken him high. Umpire said play on. Now Christensen, one-on-one with Langdon, and Langdon got the job done and got him and the ball over the boundary line.
Yeah, and Brisbane had 8 of the first 10 inside 50s, so Collingwood have just been able to capitalise more on their time in forward half, and that's the tail of the scoreboard at the moment.
And Grundy's going to have to do a heap of work tonight, and that is where he can really dominate. He's strong in the contest, Grundy. He's got a bit of the Shane Mumford's about him. Here's Clay Beams enjoying his brother out with him. Did I want to pass? That was Leuenberger came out, and that was as good a lace-out drop punt as you'd want as a forward, Richard.
Yep, outstanding, and Stephen Silvani wouldn't have been able to stop that one on the lead, and good to see Leuenberger giving them a target as a forward coming out on the lead, but that is pinpoint perfect delivery inside 50.
Matthew Leuenberger has had a horrible run with injuries right throughout his career. Had his most consistent pre-season. Really talented individual. Had his first child born in the off-season, so he's Had a bit going on in his world. He'd like to kick this one, Leuenberger, from directly in front, about 40 metres out, and he swung it back nicely, so the Lions get an important answering goal. They're second, and Leuenberger's first.
There we go. You can see, via Presto, you can do what Lingy does and pick out your favourite movie. What do you think of his choice, Richo?
Very good movie. Daniel Day-Lewis, Lingy. I'm happy with that.
Very good, Richo. Cracking movie, isn't it? True story.
It is.
Won an Academy Award for that, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Outstanding movie.
Pendlebury driving footy. From the back was Elliott. Couldn't launch over the top. Got some numbers here, the Pies. Blair's hanging around Leicester. Straight to Elliott for solo. Always dangerous. Opportunity round the corner here from White. Spun it a little too far.
Well, he's looking dangerous, Jesse White. We talked about him in the pre-game show.
He needs to be dangerous. He needs to kick 30 goals, Richard.
He has glimpses of brilliance, Jesse White. We just don't see it often enough. That's the problem. He's got to produce more and get more of the footy more consistently.
Well, he has all the tools. He's got great speed. He can take a contested mark, as we've seen early in this game. He can get the job done at ground level, but it's consistency that he needs.
And putting all those tools together in the one time on a consistent basis, as you say.
Because that then will give Cloak one out opportunities because you can't sag off White.
Takes the pressure off him. Exactly right, Richo. Here's Paparone. Down the line, roughly the time clock here. Just want to play it safe. Frost looking for the underground ball. Slick hands from the Pies. Grundy, Oxley now, normally a good user by foot, back inside. Swan just got it moving forward as quickly as he could, and McGrath at halfback.
He looks really settled, doesn't he? The debutant, Jaden McGrath. We've called his name a lot. He's had 8 possessions in his first quarter of AFL football.
Dash should be right with Brodie Grundy. He's had 10 disposals, leading disposals on the ground as a ruckman. That's a great start to the year.
Loved his follow-up work, Grundy's. Playing on this man, Stephen Martin, who's athletic and powerful as well. Went back with a flight. Blair's pickup was really clever. Kick on the run, goes across the face and out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, the story in the paper in Melbourne today on Brodie Grundy, and he really enjoyed his time last year back in the VFL, getting back to a bit of grassroots level footy. And since he's come back into the side late in the year and started off the year well, looks to be really improved.
Enjoyed his time back there, did you, Richo? You did enjoy your time back in the VFL?
No, I would have hated it, but some people might enjoy it back there. But I think he went back there for education as a young player and got a lot out of it.
Very good. There's McStay. Started so well, couple of grabs, but that'll end the first quarter here. And a good quarter of football, as Richo said, a quarter of 2 halves. Brisbane early kicked a couple, Collingwood late. 2-3-15 the Brisbane Lions. Collingwood 3-3-21. Collingwood by 1 goal. Couple of big marks in the first quarter of the game. McStay got in there early and a very nicely judged mark. Buick was all over that one. That was the hanger of the night so far. Really good conditions for marking here at the Gabba tonight. We'll see a few more of those in the minutes to come, I'm sure. So a big game here at the Gabba. Collingwood lead it by 6 points. Good crowd in tonight here as well. But Brisbane 2-3-15. Collingwood 3-3-21.
Attention please. Watch movie after movie, episode after episode of the world's most popular shows. Get more choice. Go to presto.com.au for a free 30-day trial.
Yeah, we're going to tell you a lot about Presto over the coming weeks. It's simply unbelievable entertainment. You can watch it right now with your 30-day free trial. Lingy's favourite is In the Name of the Father, a great movie. Richo likes a bit of Silence of the Lamb. You can download TV shows like
Shawshank,
Sons of Anarchy, if you're into that, which is a great show. Boardwalk Empire. 30-day free trial for Presto on now. Let's get down to Cameron Ling again.
Well, thanks, Dash. I'm here with the Brisbane Lions huddle. I'm just standing around. And what no doubt Justin Leppitsch is talking to the players about right now is the fact that he needs his team winning the contested ball. They're down by 8 with the contested possession, and Daniel Rich has been so good for them. If they can get the ball into his hands and they can win that contested possession, he's had the 8 touches, he's had a game-high 227 metres gained out of all the players on the field today. So if they can even up that contested possession, they're actually getting real, genuine drive with it, and they're using the ball really, really well, and Daniel Rich is obviously leading the way in that area, but the Pies, they've been good when they've gone forward. They need to fix up their defence as well, the Lions.
Gary O'Donnell there sorting out the midfield, Rich, and Clay Beams as well. Just some news coming through. Luke Darcy during that quarter pointed out that Stephen Martin had built himself up so much in the pre-season that he was lifting a world record deadlift of 250 kilos.
An AFL world record was where I was aiming.
Because I've been told, I have. We've got it via Twitter. 523 kilos is the world record deadlift that was done in Melbourne 2 weeks ago by Sidrunas Savaikas.
Yes.
And he's not very good at the drop punt, I'm told.
And that came through Twitter. At Paul Robinson let us know that. Thank you.
So the second quarter about to get underway here at the Gabba. It's Pies by 6 points, and Brodie Grundy was dominant in the first quarter. Leuenberger takes him on. Buick got cleaned up from behind. Good decision from the umpire. Adams forces it forward. Opportunity now for Oxley. In the way was Beams, and Rich was just almost a bit casual then. Under pressure, the kick has been marked now by Tuvey.
Well, he's got Varco loose.
Looks out to Goldsack. He's able to mark. Rich went for all or nothing there, and so Goldsack was able to play. Unfortunately, the defence by Clark down the field was impressive.
We also found out at quarter time that those hand machines that the Collingwood players have on, they circulate ice cold water around your hand, which helps regulate your body temperature. BT helps you recover quicker.
So it's taken the place effectively of a fan.
Yeah, maybe, yes.
Right. Little less imposing, Darth, than the big fan.
There they are. So that's helping cool Langdon down. He should be able to recover a little bit quicker.
So if you had one on each hand, would you cool doubly as quick?
Why don't you just put a full bodysuit on there? Why just the hand?
No, sports science has gone mad in the AFL, and all sorts of exploration going on, and why not? Some not so good. Opportunity. White over the back. Here's Cloak. Almost through. Clay Beams did really well. Then put it back in the danger zone. Cloak kicks the goal.
Well, the Collingwood pressure has really been a factor here. Beams went to ground. Clay Beams probably didn't need to do it, and that was just a bit of a panic handball, wasn't it? If you look at the door open there for Travis Cloak. Grundy's got a big head of steam up back in the centre. They need to start winning the footy. Dane Beams farms it out to Zorko. Nath Brown leads in the race. Martin's been pushed forward. They really need a bit of composure back at the moment, the Lions, which they started well in the opening 5 or 6 minutes, but it has been all Collingwood since then.
Yeah, well, Collingwood got moving, and it was on the back of the old chestnut, the contested possession. Early in the game, Brisbane were first to the football, but Collingwood are now +8, and they're just winning the football first in around the contest. Here they go again.
Taylor Adams is replacing that role that Luke Ball did for so well in the premiership year of 2010. He's a contested ball winner, is Adams. A great tackle again from Blair. Wrapped up Clark.
Collingwood.
And he's been rewarded, little Blair.
Just there.
Yeah, I think he actually handballed it, but I think it was deliberate over the bounds, even though the umpire didn't pay the free.
You could have paid either then, BT.
So Blair, as a result of that good pressure, here they come again. This time it's White over the top. So if that White-Cloak combination can work effectively like it has tonight, Richo, they're a long way to solving some of their issues and scoring.
Yeah, definitely. And they both were involved in that contest then. You probably don't want that happening too much. You need to be separated. As you can see there, they are separated. You don't want them both flying together too often.
Plenty of the smaller type potential scorers with the likes of Fasolo and Sidebottom and Elliott and these guys. Here is Elliott, little kick out of midair.
Well, Brisbane need to use this kick in here now just to get control of the ball for a couple of minutes, because they're under siege at the moment.
There's Lester, as I mentioned, playing as a defender for Brisbane this year. Hasn't done that in previous years. Daniel Rich. Done all of the pre-season, Rich. Tuvey marks right in front of the interchange area there.
It's his second intercept mark this quarter. He does that so well.
Drives it long down the line. Cloak is going to be the go-to man, a lot as you'd expect. There is Jack Crisp, who's pretty comfortable in the black and white stripes.
He's had the 4 touches.
Bigger frame around the footy. It's important to get that midfield depth. Side bottom, and Pendlebury now the experience. You see Crisp again. That's a good footy. Gets out onto his favoured left and then drives one a little wide in the end and through for a minor score.
Recently engaged Crispy, I believe, did not miss a session with the Pies over the summer, and as I mentioned, in their top 5 in the 2K run as well. By the way, Steele Sidebottom running a 6-minute 2K. This year, Nathan Freeman got within 5 seconds. Doesn't get near Blitzarv's 5:40 though, as we've spoken about before.
Just put the ball
The
on the
2K.
ground.
6 is pretty good though.
6 is red hot.
For a footballer, that's elite.
Yep.
Our own Cameron Ling was a 2K specialist. Lingy, what did you used to put 2Ks under your belting?
Well, they used to do the 3K back in my day, Dar, so I used to do the 9:15 3K.
I reckon he's tapered off a bit because I saw him in the mountain to surf down at Lawn at Christmas time, and he took about 45 minutes for that 8K. No, you went well, Lingy. Here go the Pies again. It's Sinclair running through traffic. Long ball. Cloak got the sit. In front was Blair. Couldn't quite bring it down. Now picked up here by Elliott. Around one way, the other way. Too much bend on the footy.
Well, the best 2K ever is 4:44. Kishan El Garouge.
That's the world record, is it?
World record, but he weighs about 50 kilos.
So 5:40 for Blitzarv. 6 minutes for Steel side bottom. Nathan Freeman and not far away Jack Crisp.
So the Lions transfer this one from fullback. Martin needs to win a contested footy here. Tuvey did pretty well, wrapped him up. And in for support is Ramsey.
Just a shot here, one of the new innovations here for the Brisbane Lions is this stand-up venue at or place at Boutique Ground. Stand up, have a beer. It's done at Metricon Stadium. It's done at the small stadium in Sydney as well. And Brisbane have implemented it here tonight as well, Richo.
I think it's great. I think it's fantastic that people can
Collingwood.
stand up and watch the footy, socialise with their friends. Not everyone wants to sit down. It's all about fan engagement, which is a big part of this season for the AFL.
And the grass at Adelaide Oval as well, a very popular part of the ground to be involved in over there at that magnificent stadium. Chris really started to get involved in his first game for the Magpies. Why? There's the athleticism on display. Just a nearly player, isn't he? Nearly just gets there. Couldn't quite complete that one.
Anthony Rocker on the bench there, issuing instructions, standing up in the white shirt with the headphones on. A lot to say there, and of course Disco as well, the best property steward in the business, in amongst it there. Opportunity now for Aish, boy from Norwood. At the back door, Rockcliffe, clever tap on in path of Taylor, but the boundary line beat him.
Do you like the look of Oxley early in this game, playing his 3rd game for Collingwood, and they're getting on top in the clearances, and he's had 3 of them, so Nathan Buckley would be absolutely wrapped with a young player stepping up around the contest.
Bit of ice for the Travis Cloak knee there. Hope that's nothing too serious. Pendlebury now in front of those benches. Blair did well with the one hand.
Holding.
And has won himself a free against Christensen. So he has to go and retrieve this from the bench. Let's see that. The Brisbane officials refusing to roll the ball back in the direction of Blair. So we've got supporters getting involved in the flow of play. Officials getting involved as well. It's good to see. Paparone. He gave it and he immediately told Robinson, you're hot, you're hot, you're hot. And now Merritt's got to kick a clearing wide ball and he finds Adcock.
Took it well, did Adcock, former captain.
Just can't get any fluency into their game at the moment, the Brisbane Lions. They're going to have to go long down the line here. Collingwood are doing really well at just trapping them in and forcing this.
That was the only option available. McStay came up, and that was always going to be a challenge to mark that one. This Lewis Taylor there, we know what an unbelievable debut year he had. He won the NAB Rising Star. Only trained once in his first pre-season. He had foot issues. He's done every session this year, but just a little bit slow. Only the 3 possessions so far for Lewis Taylor. Maybe a bit more awareness about what he's capable of there. Dominating around the packs at the moment, the Pies. Swan, Pendlebury and side bottom combined. That's always going to be dangerous. As for Solo, meets this one full-chested.
Well, they're just smashing them around the clearances. 20 of the last 25 inside 50s. They're getting first use of the football. 8 clearances to 2 this quarter. Brisbane need to tighten up.
Only played 15 of Collingwood's last 45 games for Solo. He too has had foot issues. He's a great celebrator for Solo. He's back up forward. I think that's where he belongs for Solo. And he loved it. Big bomb. Collingwood have kicked away to a 21-point lead. He's a good celebrator, BT.
Yeah, he loves it. He's enjoying that. Why not? Collingwood have kicked 10 of the last 11 scores in this game to net themselves 5-5 to Brisbane's 1 goal.
Push. Brisbane.
Beams. Time on.
So Dane Beams, that'll be. Now Clay on the end of it. He is a good user of the footy, Clay Beams, and that's a good example. Martin dropped an absolute sitter, which would have been a shot at goal.
Yeah, he's disappointed with himself, no doubt. That was a great kick again from Beams.
He's a really good user of the footy, Clay Beams. Perhaps hasn't got the class of his brother, but he's a good user, gets it well. Sinclair, little tapper to Blair, fast hands inside. Sinclair finishes it again to Blair. Now Cloak's one out here. Doing a nice job was Clark, trying to turn him around. Paparone for support. Cloak's got to beat a couple. When will the troops arrive? Didn't need him, the big man. Pulled the kick magnificently. And Varco low. Well done, Travis Cloak.
Yeah, that was outstanding. And that's what he didn't do in the first quarter when he blazed away from outside 50. This is really smart. Won the contested ball against two with strength. Just lowered his eyes.
Just a bull.
Just too strong. Probably the strongest player in the comp. One-on-one, Travis Cloak.
Have a look at the turf that Big Merritt, Big Sauce took out of the ground.
Fair divot.
Big
a wheelbarrow load.
Massive unit, Big Sauce.
Varco from 35. Pretty easy shot by the standards. Collingwood have kicked 3 goals in a row in this quarter.
Travis Varco kicks his first goal with the black and white stripes. Played 138 games with Ewing at Geelong. He won 114 of them at an 83% winning rate. No one in the history of the game, Lingy, has had better success who's played more than 100 games. And I think the Pies will be hoping that some of that rubs off.
Not a bad ratio, is it?
Wouldn't mind winning at 83% for your career.
And his dad had a triple bypass just a couple of weeks ago, which would explain that down game he had against the Western Bulldogs as well. His dad's on the mend now, though.
Well, that was a little corky, I'd say.
You don't want 110 kilos of Sauce Merritt running into you.
But you'd never go off when you've got a shot at goal. You'd need a broken leg before you'd go off. You have the shot at goal, then you go off.
Oh, come on, Richo.
You'd bring the crutches out to have a shot at goal.
Well, the Lions need to respond here. They trail by 27 points. Rockcliffe searching kick.
Brisbane. Under the arm kick. Nathan.
Well, this is vital. And that last centre bounce, Justin Lepage changed it around a bit. He put a loose player back behind the footy. As we have a look at the replay here.
Didn't appear to be a lot in that, did there?
Appear to be that much in it, but anyway, might have. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's for. Anyway, well, it's a goal that they need.
They desperately need Richo. Daniel McStay's a man with the footy. He's a left footer. He kicked the first of the game, and that is going to hurt. Directly in front from 35 metres, and never looked like it.
No, and what I was saying, that there's Varco coming back on. He's okay. They put a loose player behind the ball. They opened up their 50 completely, the Brisbane Lions. So Justin Lepage trying a few different things.
Push out.
So that'll be a Cloak free, though. We're waiting to see whether advantage. So Cloak getting right up the ground here as well, receiving this one at half back. He can do that if he knows he's got a tall back. Fly couldn't win it in the air. Blair has been really competitive tonight as well. The back door, Rich, really fast hands. Well done by Rich. Redden to Beams. That's Dane Beams. High footy. Brown with the punch and the spoil of McStay over the back. Adcock's able to keep it alive, though. Little kick. Christensen's got to meet the footy. He does. Did his best. Not enough, though, as Langdon now. Inside out. Cloak again. Getting plenty of it. Allowed to run on his left. How can that happen? Fortunately, Rich is there just to mop up, although under pressure.
Yeah, the pressure has been really consistent for the Magpies. Look at that again. Taylor Adams did really well. Threw himself at the footy. Side bottom covers the ground as well as anyone in the AFL and generally uses it well. Got it to Goldsack. Now Adams slows it down to Fasolo. Not a lot on offer, so just pops this one up. Merritt should gobble it, but that's what he tends to do, Big Sauce. The double fister. Back to Redden. Now can they open the play up? Young McGrath on debut has been impressive. Worked to 1-2. Too hot the handball again. Look at this relentless pressure from the Magpies. They've busted it open again. Langman's going to go inside 50. Was that a push? No, Mark stands.
You're right, Dust. The pressure is outstanding here from Collingwood. That's what they did so well in the early stages of last year when they were playing good footy. They were a good team They're pressuring up, forcing turnovers, and this is what happens. You start fumbling if you're the Brisbane Lions.
A couple of fumbles there from Rockcliffe and Robinson, and Rockcliffe was just looking to have a bit of controlled tempo footy there, and he wanted Robinson to mark so they could just milk it for a while, and just a fumble at the crucial moment, as you say.
2 fumbles in a row, and that's preferred pressure. And there were no tackles laid there, Lingy, but they coughed it up.
No, spot on, Richo. There's that perceived pressure now causing mistakes. They need a lift from a couple of their young gun second-year players. James Aish and Louis Taylor, you mentioned him before. Only the 1 possession each in this quarter. They need to find the footy, those two.
So Taylor Adams not paid the mark there because it wasn't the required journey. Varco trying to get through traffic. Taylor, boy, out of the Geelong Falcons, the factory down there with Mickey Turner. Here's Rockcliffe. Couple of best and fairest under his name already, Rockcliffe. The new skipper replacing Adcock, and our Channel 7 technician taking a good mark there.
Copped a bit of friendly fire there.
A little bit of a sore shoulder
from Rockcliffe.
And of all that. So right in front of where Cameron Ling is purchased.
He's sitting on the ground over there, Lingy.
He is. He's got a low cut-off chair.
I tell you what I noticed right in front of me then was just how much more movement there was from the Collingwood players around the stoppage. Really proactive, getting on the move. Brisbane very stationary, and that's coming from that pressure that they're creating, but Collingwood really proactive.
Yeah, they've kicked 6 of the last 7 goals, Collingwood, and it feels as though a response is required pretty urgently from Brisbane. Sinclair forces it forward again. Clark's a good defender. Really like the consistent way he goes about it. Beams won't keep that one in, Richo, but it feels like it's urgent stakes at the moment for the Lions.
Yeah, it certainly is. And 33 tackles, as you see the time in forward half there in the inside 50s. A dominant Collingwood. 33 tackles at this stage of the game. They're on target to have over 80 tackles in a game, and that's very good.
Grundy's been really impressive. Do the bulk of the ruck work. Zorko felt like he's had his normal impact. Kicks it forward. Frost comes at it. Green can't pick up the footy now. Spills open. An opportunity here for Redden. Again, they're mucking around with the footy. And Marley Williams can turn it over. Brown gets involved. Out to Langdon. He's got some time to drill this one long. One-on-one there, keeping his feet well was Blair. In comes Elliott. Clark tries to confront him. Claybeam's on hands and knees. Hard at the footy, Adams. He's been impressive in that role. The swan kick, though, ineffective. And Dane Beams takes an uncontested mark.
And normally a really good kick. And the Collingwood fans, and there are a lot of them that have travelled to this venue enjoying that missed kick by Dane Beams. And brother Clay coming in and just saying, don't you touch my brother like that.
Free kick, Brisbane up there.
We're both mean and angry.
Shane, do you want to go around? Do you want to go around, Shane?
You go in.
50-metre penalty there. That's the umpires you can hear talking in the background. But we've yet to have the 50 implemented, so this will bring Collingwood.
I think this was a free kick off the footy, in fact, BT, against Marley Williams. So the umpire in the defensive end for Collingwood has just indicated there that Marley Williams might have thrown his opponent to the ground and the Brisbane kick.
McGrath, the first gamer, realising that he wasn't going to be able to get the kick to Paparone with that length. Now back through the middle here. Taylor Adams searches down the middle, nothing, so he goes wide to this man here, Travis Cloak, who's just ripped him apart here tonight. Marley Williams on his favourite left side. Good centering ball. Here comes Merritt, got to go. He's under Elliott pressure. Still under the pump here, Brisbane. Paparone, a fiddle, a faddle and a fumble there. He responds. Now Crisp, the former Lion. Goldsacks there as well. Dane Beams. Gee, they're really fumbling a lot at the moment, the Brisbane Lions. Taylor through the middle. Some nice poise shown as he spots up Green.
Yeah, but they've held them up again, Collingwood. They've got a loose player back, and Green can't really do anything much here. He's got to go short.
He finds Lewis Taylor. As you call, Richo, you can see that there's just not a lot of movement ahead for the Lions.
And you can see Big Grundy going back there now just to fill up the hole.
Clay Beams, he got around Varco. Now he spears a kick into the forward 50. Couldn't quite complete the transaction, was Ramsey. McStay's been the most likely forward. Kick one, missed another one. He should have stayed in. Opportunity for Green. Sinclair goes to ground. Can they keep it alive? Green goes back for a second effort. Redden's in there. Grundy over the top. Umpire lets it go. I think he's going to butt. He's kept it going. It spills out again.
Goodness.
Opportunity now for Zorko. He wants a free kick.
Look at Scotty Pendlebury's going. Why didn't you ball it up?
Oh, now Zorko has either gone down too easy there or Nathan Brown has really given him one to the guts. I'm not sure which is the correct version. Comedy of errors there over the back. Martin looking for a bit of space. He's found it here with Adcock. He had a bit of a fumble as well. So it's catching at the moment for Brisbane. As we just see Nathan Brown here. Watch this. Just a little
that was
pokey one.
That was just a push.
That's just a fun one.
He's tried to milk that.
He has. Stayed down a while. Swan clearing kick. So pressure rising. Cloak again here. Couldn't complete it in the end for Solo. Did well, desperate. Blair finding space for Cloak. Oh, he's going to end up in Cameron Ling's lap. Cloak sliding ball along the ground. Parallel with the boundary line. Goldsack long ball on the head of Varco. In front is Paparone.
Yeah, different role for Paparone here, playing down back. Started off his career as a forward, but
yes, both him and Lester have gone back this year.
And he's a great agile running type tall player, and they're going to give him a chance down back.
He's a big aerobic athlete, Marco Paparone. The kick to Rich put him under all sorts of pressure, and that's the theme of the night. Collingwood really forcing the Lions into mistake after mistake. They're now having to go back to beams and out wide. Now Buick's got some space. Can they build something here? Robinson played 100 games with Carlton over 6 seasons. He's got a target, and again, well done, Sinclair. They are right up in the face of Brisbane at the moment, really consistently applying pressure.
Well, we haven't seen Brisbane be able to get that run and link and handball carry game that they like to play, that Cameron Ling highlighted before the game, and that's because Collingwood's pressure's just been outstanding. They're forcing them to cough it up and kick the ball probably when they don't have to. Don't want it back.
Here's Rockcliffe. Robinson had to go, and I tell you what, it was a brave decision to go because he had Collingwood defenders coming at him. Well done, Mitch Robinson.
That's their first mark inside 50 this quarter, just to highlight the pressure up the ground for Collingwood, and we'll go down to Lingy.
Well, guys, really good work there by Mitch Robinson taking that mark. Just something heading into half-time I reckon Brisbane are going to work on with Dane Beams there. He's had the 15 possessions, but metres gained is minus 15 for the entire game. So you can see how much pressure they're under, the fact he's not coping well with it. They need to get his head right, get him playing a big second half.
Robinson from just inside 50, not going to curl back for him. Distance was covered quite easily.
That's an incredible stat that Lingy's just produced there. 15 possessions, negative 15 metres gain.
Just kick that one off, Brownie.
Just shows that.
And only 3 kicks out of those 15, so that just shows you he's had no time and space to kick the foot. He's just had to flip off short handballs.
He's the only player in the Brisbane team to be in the negative side of metres gained. Every other player is on the positive side, so that is unusual. And a good get by Lingy. Paparone. What's the reason for that, Lingy, do you think?
Definitely the pressure, and as Richo alluded to then, the handballs. He's obviously handballing out the back all the time and just racking up the negatives because he's just not having any forward momentum at all.
Collingwood again with a lot of pressure around the footy. Cloak almost deliberately knocking it down there, got it to Crisp. Varco now looking to get away from Paparone. Paparone stays in the hunt. Zorko there as well. Feeds it out. Adcock involved. Aish as well. Through a lot of hands here. Adcock a little loopy with the handball. Clay Beans had the skill to pirouette out of trouble. And a ripping kick to Christensen. 55 from home.
Just a little bit too far out, and he hasn't got much ahead of him at the moment. They're trying to get back to set something up.
Goes short. Finds Aish.
Probably going to have to pop this one up to the top of the square because there's not much space to lead into now.
Gradually getting in there. There's Lester. He gets a bit of a run at it and touch, so he didn't have the confidence with the set shot either. Now Langdon from that last line. White. Good grab. Able to play on. Rich couldn't do much about it. Varco with the give and go back to White. He's got nothing on. That's why he elected to handball. He would have kicked it straight to Merritt. They've done well, these two. They've gained 30 without a kick.
Yeah, you're spot on there, Brian. Both Varco and Jesse White, they couldn't release the ball long because Daniel Merritt was on his own down the line. That's all they could do. And they gained 30 or 40 metres just by forcing the ball along with a couple of handballs. It was well played.
A lot of players, Brisbane, that have had no impact at all so far in this first half. Lewis Taylor's had 7 possessions, Buick just 6, Mitch Robinson a half a dozen, Christensen only 6, James Aish 6 possessions. It's
let's go, come on.
Not a lot of footy for
You got the footy, Tom, you got the footy.
a lot of talented players. Steph Martin too, he was averaging 23 possessions last year in the second half. And he's had a really quiet first half. The points have gone to Grundy, that's just his 5th touch of the footy. And now Rockcliffe, it's a slow play. Credit to Collingwood, their structures look really good. Good kick though from Rockcliffe, opens up the space. Aish, who's been really quiet, now to Rich. On to Robinson, he's got to get past Goldsack. Taylor had a fumble and then he got poleaxed. No free kick. Now Zorko playing in the goal square, kick around the body. They desperately need one. Zorko's got it. A bit going on off the footy as well with Christensen, but an important goal to the Lions.
It's all good.
So the Zorko goal stands, and let's have a listen.
Come on, Jed. Jed, let's go.
Jed. Thanks, Scotty. Hey, Daniel. Come on, Daniel.
Don't give it away, come on.
Play's about to restart. Play's going to restart.
Well, the referee played that a couple of times, and there's nothing in that. It was a pretty fair hit. His arm did slide up, but there was no real contact to the face.
So Christensen was the first man on the scene. He reacted to it. So nothing really in that BT, apart from the fact Zorko's kicked the goal, and they needed it desperately. They're first of the second quarter.
Back within 19, Das. Here as a result of the Zorko goal. Bit of aggression shown in this game, that passage by Brisbane. Can it excite them and get them involved? Rockcliffe with a good clearance, got it deep to Green. Sinclair has been really good in defence, very reliable. Tuvey, now Beams, really hard handball to Christensen. He just let go of the footy. So did Taylor Adams. Tuvey, little underground ball here. They're out, Collingwood. Varco's a good user. He elects not to go with the short to Fasolo and goes wide to White. White plays on short to Fasolo, over his head, back where it all started, round the corner, it's drifting a little close, lost it in mid-air, lost the body merit on close.
50 metres in the protected area.
And a 50-metre penalty.
Jesse White and Travis Cloak are working extremely hard tonight. They're pushing right up to the half-back line. And this is what happens, you get rewarded with deeper marks later in quarters.
Cloak goals back out to a 25-point Collingwood lead.
Right on top, the Collingwood Football Club here in the first half. 125 points. Cloak's worked hard. Swan and Sidebottom have been influential as well.
Was that a little bit stiff, the 50? I know he would have kicked the goal anyway, but
a lot in it, I didn't think.
He was just sort of trying to say Cloak had to go around on the angle.
Pendlebury's kick partially smothered. Christensen trying to get himself into the game.
Thanks, Taylor.
Yeah. Only played the 8 games last year, had back issues at Geelong. Now Clay Beams. Ramsey went at him and Beams was agile enough to get through. Time for another forward entry here for Brisbane. They get it moving, but again, they're conceding ground here to Adcock. A lot of numbers back for the Magpies. Short one's on to Rockcliffe.
They've just got to get it in there, I reckon, and get a contest.
Likes an option to Taylor. Not a great kick because Taylor was out. Green can pick it up. Their leading goal kicker last year, Josh Green, a high ball. Martin can't mark it. And so a pretty dominant first half for the Magpies. They kicked 4 goals to 1 in the second quarter. And they are right on top. A little bit of angst here. Marley Williams. Adcock getting involved. Dane Beams.
Thanks, Marley. Thanks, Dane. Frosty.
Wants a piece of it as well.
Good, Jack. Oh, good, Jack. Let's use our break, boys.
Well, there's Lingy.
He's got access all areas, Lingy. He gets himself into any position he likes, and we're going to cross down to him now. He's got Tyson Goldsack.
Well, Das, I didn't want to get too close to that action. There's a fair bit of feeling in this game, isn't there, Tys?
Yeah, there is. Round 1, you always expect it, don't you? He's going to be on. There's been a couple of big hits, so it's good to see, I reckon.
Must be pleased with the way you boys are going. They're really winning that contested footy and moving the ball well.
Yeah, I reckon that's what's setting us up. Just winning the ball at the contest in our forward half, get those turnovers. Just we're a bit sloppy going forward. We just need to finish off and we'll be a lot more in front, I reckon.
Thanks for your time, mate. Boys, Collingwood have been very good in this first half. They're up by 25 points here at the Gabba.
He's okay, and we're away in the second half. I think the Lions might have been happy with a small fire, Richo, because they needed a lot of fire under themselves at the moment. They've been a bit flat. I think they would have come into tonight, given themselves a really good chance against Collingwood. They've been outplayed, they've been outworked. Dane Beams has had a heap of the footy, 17 possessions, but -3 metres gained, so he needs to lift his rating as well.
And on the flip side of that, a lot of people did think the Lions could win tonight, but I reckon the Collingwood players have got a fair bit of resolve as well. Been written off a little bit in the last week or so for this AFL season. People wondering how they're going to go. Can they play finals? And a lot of pundits were saying no. It's been a pretty impressive display so far.
Indeed it has, Richo. And Pendlebury copped a bit of action there. I'm not sure whether it was friendly fire or just a glancing blow, I reckon it was.
And Scott hasn't had a massive game so far, and that's a positive for Collingwood. Getting the job done without Scott playing well.
Maybe a finger in the eye, it was, from Dane Beams, his former teammate. So it can be nasty, but there's Chris Bradshaw, by the way, the Geelong doctor, who's now at Collingwood, and there's been a big trading of positions over the summer. They've got Neil Baum, Travis Varco and Chris Bradshaw, the doctor. So 3 Geelong experts coming the way of the Pies.
And one of the best sports doctors in the business, BT, Chris Bradshaw, an absolute gun, that bloke.
It is interesting with Neil Baum as well that Collingwood thought they had Mitch Clark on the hook. Neil Baum was at Geelong and he convinced him to go to Geelong. Now Neil Baum's at Collingwood. I wish he hadn't convinced him. Well, I bet you he wishes he had.
It's an interesting point you make. Opportunity here for Dane Swan. I think he kept in, and that was clever. Side bottom is also clever, and he's kicked a ripping goal to start the second half. That's his second still side bottom from nowhere, and Nathan Buckley loves it.
Oh, he should be happy. Still side bottom. He's putting together a very good game. That's his second goal for tonight. He can kick multiple goals. And how's the skill level there to be able to thread that through from the boundary? They make it look easy, these are modern AFL players, with that kick around the corner. Have another look at it here. It was a clear hit out to the Brisbane Lions. And it might have nearly gone out, the ball there. I reckon the Brisbane Lions players gave up on it a little bit.
Well, he and Fasolo, side bottom, have got just traces of Peter Dacos about their mercurial play and their brilliance. Just little bits of traces. I mean, Dacos was an absolute standout star, but they've just got little bits in them. Here is White. And that was certainly one of them from side bottom. As White goes long and deep, cloak the target. Paparone tries to find the boundary line, and he does.
That's a good setup. That's what you want to happen from a centre square clearance. You've got your key forward about 40 to 45 metres out. He comes out and marks it outside 50, turns around, and then you've got your other key post competing deep. That's a good setup for Collingwood.
And if you've just joined us, good news for Carlton fans. Dale Thomas, no surgery required. Be on the sidelines for some 6 weeks. So good news for him. Grundy. Little kick around the corner. Goldsack overrunning the footy here. Went back and got it. Crisp against his old mob. Crisp goals. Collingwood 2 in 2 minutes.
Two first goals coming out of the middle here. They have not touched the ball this quarter, the Brisbane Lions. 4 clearances to Collingwood, 2 goals.
They need something desperately here, the Lions. They get an opportunity inside 50. Green goes to Tuvey. Leuenberger tried to guide it down to Lewis Taylor's had a very quiet first up game. The net rising star winner for 2014. Robinson bundles Marley Williams over the boundary line, and at the moment they look a very flat outfit. Take no credit away from the Pies, who have been super impressive.
Well, that's right, Das. The Collingwood team has been impressive. And when you've got a young team in and a bit going on at the club, you want your leaders and your champions to stand up. Dane Swan, 15 possessions, steeled side bottom, 13 and 2 goals have been great.
But Redden against the flow of play, kicks one to the goal square. Leuenberger, Brown did well. Green, leading goal kicker last year with 30 plus. Adcock ripped it out of the arms of Langdon. Can Adcock get Brisbane going? He does, and kicks a very nice goal.
So a goal in time of great need, that one, coming off the boot of Adcock, the former skipper. And some real leadership required here for Brisbane to get themselves back in the hunt. They're just 31 adrift of Collingwood at the moment. Jordan Bannister with a beautiful bounce in the middle. Grundy in amongst it. There's Redden again. Set that last one up. Taylor's handball was meant for Martin. Getting in the way is Crisp. Done well against his old team, using his feet as hands there. inventive. His side bottom, clearing the path for Varco. Didn't go. Taylor Adams, standing start around the corner. And for Solo, great body use. And he finds the open player in Elliott. And Elliott will get a set shot from 40 out directly in front.
That was just body strength from Alex Fasolo on a first game player. We see the kick coming in here. That was just a little bit too easy, but that's going to happen. A young player went to ground. A player who's been around for 4 or 5 years now, Alex Fasolo. Just a little bit too easy there, though, for Collingwood.
33 goals last year, Elliott, so he did his job. Wouldn't expect any more than that from a guy of his size. And here he is directly in front to respond to the Brisbane goal. And there was never any deviation of the ball there. Great kick.
So it's the Magpies with all of the answers here at the Gabba. Big crowd in. Conditions have been ideal. Slight bit of rain early, but nothing to affect the standard. They've just dominated every area, Richo, fair to say.
Yeah. 8 goal kickers, Darcy. That's what you want. A great spread of goal kickers, not relying on any one target. Keeps the whole Brisbane defence honest. Who's going to kick the next goal? We can't zone off here. We've got to stay on each of our own men, and that's exactly what you need as a forward line unit.
You hear Dane Beams yelling out, squeeze. That's to Lewis Taylor. You've got to pick up Tuvey. Didn't get there in time, although he had the ball kicked into his forehead, basically, Lewis Taylor. And now they just appear to get through traffic with a bit too much time and ease at the moment. Collingwood. Aish has been quiet as well. He hurries a kick out to the boundary line. The Collingwood players want deliberate. What's the umpire going to do?
Oh, wow. Well, that ball went 10 different directions, Richo.
There's got to be a limit in how far the ball travels, I reckon, for that one. That went 40 metres.
He had no control once it hit the deck for the 15th time. Taylor Adam, high ball in. White's got the sit here. He flies. Good defensive ploy there from Brisbane. Beams, handball to Redden. Had to turn back into traffic. Always a dangerous thing to do. Now Merritt's got to try and barge his way through. Got the handball to Redden. Look at the pressure from Collingwood. Just keeps coming in waves. So frustrated, Justin Lepage. Let's have a look at this one. Was it deliberate? Yes, he was trying to get it into space, but I'm not sure he was trying to get it over the line.
Didn't have a lot of other options, did he, Jack Redden? But umpires have told us that it's going to be something they're going to police fairly ferociously this year. Rockcliffe trying to inspire his team with a smother. Ricochets forward now. Martin's had no influence at all. Steph Martin disappointed with his output so far. Tuvey emerges with the footy. Oh, the leap from behind. Great effort from Elliott.
There it is. He's a great marking player.
Talented individual is Elliott to White. Now White clunks one in front of Clark, and it is all Collingwood. Big contingent of Collingwood supporters here, Richo, and they're loving what their side's doing tonight.
Yeah, sorry, Darcy. There we see Jamie Elliott. He does that weekly, and this is a huge problem and cannot take a mark in the forward half of the ground. And inside 50, Collingwood have taken 13 marks just after half-time. Brisbane only the 5, and that was always going to be the Achilles heel for Brisbane this season. Who was going to be the marking targets inside forward 50, and they're being exposed by Collingwood tonight.
Lions yet to take a mark this quarter. Jesse White, 89 games in 9 seasons. Feel like this is a big year for Jesse White. He couldn't quite steer that one home. He's lost weight. He shows glimpses of real brilliance. They need it on a more consistent basis, the Pies.
It's been a theme amongst AFL players this year, Lingy. I notice a lot of players have lost weight. Looking at the Geelong players, they've lost a lot of weight. Port Adelaide players have lost a lot of weight. Is this something that the league generally has caught on to?
Yeah, absolutely, BT. You're spot on with over the pre-season. I reckon that leaner running type player has been the way clubs have wanted to go. And I think that's been led by Port Adelaide and the fact they're just running machines. All cover the ground a lot better when they're not carrying those extra kilos.
Solo to Blair, just retreating. Cloak now gets it on his left. I think they forgot him for a moment that he was a left footer. Not able to work it back enough, so they're really on the go here, the Pies, at the moment.
Yeah, he had that in his hands for a couple of seconds, Travis Cloak. He looked inboard, couldn't see anything, so probably within his rights to have a shot from there.
Great crowd shot there. There's a big crowd in here tonight. They haven't had in excess of 28,000 for over 4 years here since Favola was involved in a game, so I think it's probably in excess of that tonight, Dars. Great turn up from the footballing public in Queensland.
Yeah, it feels like it, and we know the Collingwood fans travel everywhere. There's a big contingent of the Collingwood army here at the Gabba tonight. Now an opportunity for Robinson. He runs into his teammate And that was Steph Martin behind the play. That might be the skipper, Rockcliffe. You can see bottom right of your screen. It looks really sore. Here's Marley Williams. They love his flair and run. Left foot on that occasion. Oh, big sauce merit. He had Pendlebury in his sights. He forgot about the footy. Pendlebury always goes the ball. And out the back is White on his own, 15 metres in space. And he'll go back and surely can't miss from there.
Rockcliffe is in real trouble here, guys. We'll get a look at it after this kick, but it looks ribs or somewhere in the stomach area. He is in real trouble, right in the side of the ribs. A knee from Varco in his attempts to mark.
Yeah, it looks really sore, doesn't he? The captain, Tom Rockcliffe, flush in the ribs, still struggling to get to his feet. But the onslaught, the avalanche is Collingwood. Jesse White, he won't miss from there. And the Pies have got it up to a 45-point lead.
Lingy, Rockcliffe is right in front of you now as a result of this knock to the ribs. He looks as sore as I've seen anyone.
Yeah, absolutely, BT. He is in a lot of trouble. We saw it was a knee to that upper rib area, and gee, I wouldn't be surprised if there's broken ribs and maybe even a little bit more damage there. He's a tough boy, Tom Rockcliffe, but he's in a lot of pain as he's walking from the ground now.
Gee, I wonder whether there might be a punctured lung associated with that as well, because he does look like he's struggling for breath as well. Yeah. I know a knock to there is going to take the breath away, but
that's the worry, isn't it, BT, that maybe if there is a broken rib, it could have done damage to the lungs, because he can't get any air in whatsoever at the moment.
Well, Collingwood have kicked 4 goals to 1 in this third quarter.
And Buckley's opened the forward line right up now because he knows they are well on top. Here's another mark.
And Oxley's a really good kick. We know that for Solo. Goldsack lines them up. Centering ball. Here comes Cloak. Got to beat a couple. Under it, falls back and did well. So Cloak will line up for his third goal. And the fans are loving it.
Yes, well, at that centre bounce, we'll see this here. Cloak does this weekly. At that centre bounce, they only had 4 forwards inside 50 because they're getting isolation because they know they're just dominating in the air. That's the 15th mark now inside forward 50.
Cloak needs to kick the goal for his third, and that one misses. Just leaned back on it quite a bit, and Bucks wasn't happy with the result. But at least he's getting it.
Well, he spoke to you at half-time, BT, about that.
Yep. And he has been working on the mental side of that game, and I'm sure the physical side as well. But when you're so close to us, you've got to make sure it doesn't deviate from the boot at all. You've got to guide it down perfectly, don't you?
It is unforgivable, isn't it, 10 metres out to miss. But tell you what, at the moment, this is just a non-competitive Brisbane Lions. Collingwood are doing as they please. The worst news is that their most effective player, Rockcliffe, is off. Looks as though he's got some serious rib injury, but at the moment, it is a procession for the Pies.
Well, if you let your opposition intercept mark off a kick-in like that, there's going to be players out everywhere, and that's exactly what happened.
Goldsack, he plays the defensive forward role regularly. He's a tackling machine. The bonus is when he can add a few goals to the tally as well. That's not his best effort either. And
not his best effort at all there from Tyson Goldsack. Guys, the sub will be made. Tom Rockcliffe won't come back in. Sam Mays will take over from him. He is in a world of hurt right now, Tommy Rockcliffe.
Yeah, keep us informed with that, Lingy, because it's not good. As the ball paddled towards the boundary line, Collingwood maintaining the ball in their half of the ground in this quarter in a heavy way. Rockcliffe, the leading possession getter, as Das mentioned, their best player, and he's already on the happy stick there. So he'll be heading off to hospital for scans straight away, one would imagine. Swan leads all comers with possession in this game at the moment. There's Elliott. Adcock trying to burst his way through. And a ball up resultant here.
Brisbane just can't touch the football at the moment.
It's a great Australian invention, that, Richo. It's a pethidine thing, a whistle you can blow and you can see he's just gasping in. That's for when you're in extreme pain. We've seen over the history James Herb, that horrible facial fracture, and a pretty handy thing at the moment for Tom Rockcliffe, who's in so much pain. To be able to relieve a bit of that is a good thing.
Kick into Cloak, bit of a nudge out there. White flew high at the back. Zorko did it well. Off hands, kick is wide to Adcock, and feel sure that he'll be carted off to hospital in the ambulance.
I remember shortly. Remember I got a broken arm in Adelaide once, and they gave me the stick that you're talking about.
How quickly take effect?
Pretty quickly, and I got into the ambulance, and I was pretty happy just to drive around Adelaide all afternoon in the ambulance. It does work pretty effectively.
Paparone wide, so Brisbane Just trying to inch the ball up in front of where Rockcliffe sits there on the Brisbane bench right at the moment.
This has been their issue all night, though. They haven't got anyone to go to there, and they've really struggled moving it through half forward, and now the Pies, another turnover.
Like a clamp, wasn't it, as it closed shut on them. Pendlebury with a little kick forward, and now Cloak around the corner. Kick downfield, so I think this will go to White. Was the closest player to the footy. And you can just see it left of screen here.
Here, downfield.
Oh, no.
No, he's got to come back.
So, pretty technical decision there. There's Tom Rockcliffe, big news. Brisbane Lions, he's got the red vest on, as Lingy indicated he would.
I thought Daniel Rich actually tried to hold back on the tackle there. It was kicked, but anyway, the umpire was closer than what I was.
So White also has an opportunity to kick his third here. And you get the feeling here that there's just a little bit of left to right weight in this ball. If he kicks it inside left goal post, it should work back nicely. But don't give away the left goal post. And I reckon he did just kick just outside it. So perhaps a little bit of cramp as well to go with his game. So Daniel Rich just searching for a good footy.
Yeah, the other disappointing news for Brisbane is that Scott Pendlebury's really starting to come into the game. Richo's had 6 kicks this quarter. And you know you can't keep him quiet for 4 quarters. So they're on top everywhere at the moment, aren't they? Marley Williams got some elevation, couldn't keep it in.
Well, they're just getting first use of the football. They're double contested possessions in a half of a quarter. They're plus 14. That's embarrassing for Brisbane. They're just non-competitive in that area at the moment in this quarter.
So a bit of steady rain falling here at the Gabba, which doesn't help Brisbane's cause anymore at all. Martin is trying to find a way, Brisbane. They need a spark. They need someone to crash in and really make competitive effort. Maybe Leuenberger there got over the top at Langdon. 50-50 balls, though. The Pies are emerging with Tuvey. Puts it out in front of Jamie Elliott, looking for a one-on-one there. That was clever, back to side bottom, and now Elliott pushing up into the midfield. Clever kick around the body was really good to Sinclair.
Hold there, Jed, hold there.
He's a defensive forward in recent years, and now as a small defender, that kick not his best.
This one, take down.
And the Lions will mop that up. Lewis Taylor at half-back, an opportunity to reload here for Brisbane.
So can they penetrate this clamping defence that Collingwood are applying at the moment? They go into slow play again, which gives them an opportunity here. Collingwood to close it up. Zorko found space where no one else has. Back to Taylor. Wanted to go wide, back inside now. Taylor needs to get rid of it. He does. Ball hung in the air too long for Beams, and immediately was tackled as a result. Now Langdon's in there. Or was it Goldsack? It was Goldsack, in fact. Little handball outwards. Taylor Adams, a real hard inside worker is Adams. Dane Swan, if he plays 20 games this year, he'll go to the 8th all-time games played amongst some champion Collingwood names, including McHale and Shaw and Thompson. So he'll be looking to play as many as he can. His side bottom says, come at me. Elliott does.
How good's that? He summed that up perfectly. Couldn't go quickly, waited, and then how's the skill level on the left foot from side bottom?
Blair got an ordinary bounce. Rich came hard the other way. What a good footy. Look at Goldsack working super hard to apply pressure on Robinson. Free kick against Ramsey. Zorko going to be the beneficiary of that. Coming up for disposal, number 17, Dane Zorko. We haven't seen a lot of this run and flare and take the game on. Now Dane Beams tries to get something going. Goes back to Zorko. The 2-on-1 down there. Frost, Leuenberger brought it to ground. But hasn't been a lot of creativity, has there, Rich? As we take a look at Matty Leuenberger, who crunched Langdon.
Yeah, he's copped it.
Just landed across his right knee there. You can see it icing up Richo. He's a little bit sore. Jordan De Goey warming up. They might make the sub with him.
Brown handled out of his area, trying to clear the defensive zone. Buick couldn't pick it up. Maybe Taylor taken without possession of the footy. Green hasn't been able to really get involved in the game, and another boundary throw.
You talked about Brisbane trying to get that run handball game going. They gained more metres last year than any other team with handball, running and linking up, but it's just the Collingwood pressure tonight. They're all over them, and they're not letting them do it.
Yeah, it's been a really good example of the pressure that Richo spoke often about in this game, and Lingy. And now Brisbane a chance deep in their forward end. Green. Nathan Brown won't want to hear the news about his brother Mitch, who looks like he's done another knee. Varco went to get it. Zorko in amongst it here. Tough, hard ball to be won. Fast hands, Sinclair got it from Pendlebury. Now Fasolo was in there. Goldsack wrapped up here in the Clark tackle. Blair, the boy from Wonthaggi, rolls out of the Redden tackle. Mitch Robinson now had the ball stripped by Taylor Adams. It was really well done, but in the end to no effect. There is Beams. Another set of brothers, the 5th set of brothers that are playing for the Brisbane Lions tonight. I want you to name them all shortly, Richo. I'll give you a chance. I'll give you 4 of them. There's Williams brothers, the Scott brothers, the Voss brothers, and the Beams brothers are the 5th tonight. Who is the 5th one of those brothers to have played for Brisbane? No, just time out. You don't know, Richo. The Bradshaws were the other set of brothers.
Yes, I would never have got that.
I think Darren only played 1 game for Brisbane.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got that, Brian. So
no, that's why I asked it.
His courage from Cloak. He went back. Merritt coming the other way is never...
Funny that you picked the hardest ones to pick to ask me.
Who would have thought? Dane Beams can launch an attack forward. They've got some numbers around the footy. Frost went up with the one arm, didn't get fish to ball. Marley Williams, look at that attack on the footy. Good tackle applied by Mays, the sub who's come on in recent times for Rockcliffe. Now an opportunity. Can Glaybeam score from there? Drills one at the goal. Good connection, just not the accuracy. And another minor score away of the Lions. 46-point Collingwood league, Richo, and they're doing it fairly comfortably at the moment.
When do you reckon they'll bring the first game, Ron? I reckon I'll nearly get him on now. Give him a look at AFL footy. The game's well in control. Langdon's got a bit of ice on the knee here to go.
So, Richo, he's just about to come on. He's got the vest off. He's just waiting for someone to come to the bench. And so he can take his spot.
Come on.
Of course, he's
just run on. It looks like it's Adam Oxley who's subbed off.
Okay, so his dad Roger played Essendon reserves. He's tough, really good decision maker in traffic, I'm told, to go in. He's one of those big-bodied midfielders they've been looking for. Solo, beautiful chip, gave Goldsack an opportunity here. Thought about Varco and went with him in the end. Handball comes back to Blair. He runs into an open goal. And Collingwood on fire at the moment. 5 goals in the third quarter.
No, just one in run ruckman.
Well, really starting to blow wide apart this game. Dominant Collingwood performance. And with the debutant to go to come on, it's almost the perfect start for the Pies. Touch play on, players hadn't heard it. Aish gets involved to Brown, but just don't appear to be under any pressure at all, the Magpies. Chris has been good at times, a former Lion out to Pendlebury. Look at the class of this man on display. You look at him and you just think that is the epitome of what AFL footy's all about. Varco's enjoyed his first night as well with Collingwood. Not his finest kick on the run.
They're just queuing up now for possession. Need to get to 3/4 time, the Lions, and regroup, restructure things and be a little bit more competitive in the last quarter, fight this game out, because they're just receiving handballs and running around and doing what they like at the moment.
That's the word, competitive, Richo, that'll really upset Justin Lepich. We know the way he played his footy. He was a competitive animal, BT, and just haven't seen any real fight, any real just fire in the belly at all tonight from Brisbane.
It's Green, just back foot of the centre circle here. He's got Ace wide if he wants to go in that direction, and he does, and finds him, but he drops the slippery ball as the rain continues to fall here at the Gabba with a really good crowd in the house, and Leuenberger got down low and took an ice mark here, which will result with a shot at goal. Leuenberger, interesting to see DeGoey, who's just come on the ground for Collingwood, wearing the famous number 35. Of course, the highest draft picks each year in the Collingwood side always wears number 35 for 1 year.
Is that right?
Yep, that is right. And, of course, Taylor for Brisbane wearing number 28. Why, Richo?
Brian, you're asking me
because he was picked
you know I don't
number
know the
28,
answers.
Richo.
Is that right?
Yes. So he thought, oh, I'll have the 28 Guernsey if I was picked 28.
I know why you came up early now. You have just got a lot of information.
Here's Christensen. That'll slide back very nicely indeed. Good kick. Nicely weighted by Alan Christensen.
So Alan Christensen will enjoy that. He hasn't really been able to get into the contest the way he would have hoped, just the 10 disposals, but his first goal for the Brisbane Lions going to provide a bit of run and speed and quality. Beam's got a finger into Grundy, who really set them alight early. Was the best player on the ground for mine in the first quarter.
Drag it under, Brisbane.
Let him run, let him run.
You can hear the umpire there suggesting dived on it. Leicester now
The one they really miss when they win the ball across half-back like that is Pierce Hanley. You just picture him running past, breaking the game open from here. Instead, Collingwood have able to turn the ball over time and time again tonight.
Yeah, it's a good point you make, Lee. Pierce Hanley, there would have been run, there would have been flair. He would have really tried to attack the game. It's just been a bit conservative for Brisbane. Daniel Rich's kick smothered by Fasolo, and it sums up where this game's been for Brisbane. Collingwood have played the game at a much higher rate, much more intense, more aggression, and they're getting the result.
I reckon he'd be really wrapped with his forward line set up tonight. Nathan Buckley taken 17 marks inside 50 and only 2 of those to Travis Cloak. That's just a fantastic sign for them. BT talked earlier about who's going to support Cloak down there this year. Well, they've just all spread the load inside 50 tonight.
And that's precisely what they need to do to take the pressure off Cloak and draw players away from him, as you pointed out earlier in the game. They got out. This game got out to a 53-point advantage for Collingwood. Remember, a year or two back, Brisbane, I think it was against Geelong, came from 52 down. So they are capable of big comebacks.
And BT, funnily enough, watching a few of the players before the game, they were playing on the big screen that exact game. A number of the Brisbane players just stood out, stopped all their warm-up and just watched the last 2 minutes of that game to see Ash McGrath kick the goal. Completely ignored what they were supposed to be doing. So maybe they just think there's still a chance from here.
Saw the Sydney Swans earlier tonight had their greatest ever three-quarter time margin. They came back from 34 points to knock off Essendon.
In conditions similar to this, Das, with the rain as well. So Green will get a chance to get all of that rolling if he kicks this, because it will be, I think, the first time tonight they will have kicked consecutive goals.
He's had a couple of chances tonight on set shots, Josh Green. Kicked 2 behinds. This is the hardest one of the 3.
So Green comes in. Tough angle, but he threads the needle. Great kick. Brisbane back to within 41 here at the Gabba. Well, great news for Queensland footy fans. Some sort of a record crowd here for the last 4 years anyway. 31,240, the biggest game since, or the biggest crowd since 2010, when I think Brendan Favola debuted for the Brisbane Lions.
Yep, the first time that they've kicked consecutive goals in this match. Josh Green and Christensen, the last 2, they go forward again. They give themselves a chance here. Can Martin hand it off to Lewis Taylor? He's going to go to the outside of the boot, Banana, and make it 3 in a row. He is. And so they just keep the door ajar here, the Brisbane Lions. 3 straight goals. We're back to 35 points. Last 21 disposals of the game have all been Brisbane. The last 8 marks of the game have all been Brisbane. And the last 3 goals, BT, we're back on.
We were just talking about it, Das. Here they are, just 35 points down as we get near the 3/4 time break. They can't allow Collingwood to kick a goal here. Side bottom to Pendlebury. A dangerous company. Gives it off here to Chris. Chris with that left foot. Got a hand there, Ace. He's got to clear the ball. Paparone backing up. Handball over the top to Buick. Buick, Shorty's handball to go. He gets his first touch and footy. Gave it to Varco, and Stephen Martin dropped a simple one. Beams was able to wrap it all up. We've got a few seconds. There is the siren. So it's on here. Make no mistake about it. Brisbane have kicked the last 3, and they have just got a feeling that they can get hold of this one. It'll be very, very interesting, the start of the last quarter on the other side of the break. Collingwood by 35. Big crowd in at the Gabba, some big hangers as well. Buick wasn't shy to jump. We all know that Sidebottom and Blair are good players, and they slotted goals early in the game here, and they looked on Collingwood for most of the night. Cloak was able to soccer one off the ground. They led it by 6 points at quarter time. Cloak got the first of the second for Solo, just the ultimate celebrator. Beams copped a little bit. His brother Clay come in to try and sort them out. Louis Taylor got one as well, but he got up and recovered. And it was Collingwood by 25 points at quarter time. Side bottom, fast start in the 3rd quarter. Then Jack Crisp, the former Lion himself, loved it. And then Rockcliffe got this one ironed out and in a lot of trouble. Likely broken ribs, we are told, from the medicos at Brisbane, in a lot of pain. 3/4 time sees Collingwood leading by 35 points.
Yep, and maybe game on in terms of this
Watch
match.
movie after movie, episode after episode of the world's most popular shows. Get more choice. Go to presto.com.au for a free 30-day trial.
Yeah, head to presto.com.au. Unbelievable entertainment is Presto. Latest movies, the best TV shows available when you want, where you want it. Let's get down to Cameron Ling.
Well, Das, a little bit of rain down here, getting a little bit slippery, but I'm sure both these teams don't care about that. They know they got a big last quarter. Both subs have been made. We saw Tommy Rockcliffe goal for the Lions. First game of the year, increase in intensity. Both teams are going to be tight, but maybe, just maybe, this game is set up for Dane Beams to have a big last quarter. He's been quiet so far, 24 possessions, only 23 metres gained. Taylor Adams has done a really good job on him. Taylor Adams is going to have to keep his concentration up, because if Dane Beams cuts loose, look out, the Lions could cause an upset from here.
There's Pierce Hanley, who they are desperately missing for that thing Lingy was just talking about, metres gained. He's the one that sets them up with his run and carry, and they need him back in the side quickly, but Buckley would be wrapped on the other side of the coin because they've smashed Brisbane in contested possession. They've out-tackled them. They've won the clearances. If you win those three areas, you're not going to lose many games of football, and they're moving forward with the football, whereas Brisbane Lions are going sideways and backwards because of that pressure.
Grundy's been super impressive. First hand to it again. Beams has worked hard. Kick forward by Rich. Start in the middle. We've got a good bounce as it got through hands. It might be the first goal of the last quarter. It's the last 4 goals to Brisbane, and we're back to 29 points.
4 goals with their last 13 kicks, Brisbane. Before that, it was 4 goals for 144 kicks. Talk about efficiency. Now, how do the Pies respond here?
You could almost say that was one possession for a goal because Beams hardly got his hand to it.
Yep. So the Pies, where do they go from here? They need something to stop this run. Now at 4 consecutive goals, Rich will send them 50 bound once again. High ball here, went a little early. On that occasion did Mays. Here's Marley Williams. Disguised that very nicely indeed.
Reckon any chance they get to put it inside 50, just drive it in there and let the little guys go to work like Green there. Nearly ran onto a nice crumb.
A lot of Collingwood fans in the house tonight, as you can see. Big Collingwood contingent. 500 at training here yesterday, Das, Collingwood fans.
They travel everywhere. You've got to admire the Magpie Army. They've created a crowd here of 31,240. Dane Swan's kick goes out on the full.
He'd be happy with his night's work. Though Dane Swan, 23 disposals. Talking to Buckley before the game, he said it'll be a month or so before we see his best.
Buick might have
holding the ball. Collingwood, advantage.
Wow, this is a big call. So prior opportunity, the umpire said for Buick, and now they're out the back here. Cloak sits underneath it. Oh, Merritt came through and poleaxed Cloak. Got back up to his feet okay.
That's a big win by Merritt.
Just see a lot more intensity in the Lions at the moment. Swan gets back. Composure from Swan to Elliott. And Elliott just happy to slow things down for a minute here, the Magpies.
So Elliott, nice little chip there. Nicely weighted ball. And gee, he's unlucky not to get a free for that. The Collingwood player, I think it was crisp underneath it. Here's Buick around the corner now with the left footer. As they wind forward again, McStay got pushed out of the way. Christensen, a little bit of soccer work to keep it alive. Not once, but twice. Swan trailing in here at the moment the 3rd time. So it was really well done by Alan Christensen. Gained a lot of ground. That was a fair knock.
There's 2 desperate efforts by Daniel Merritt. Both times, you would have thought that maybe Collingwood had the advantage, but he was just desperate to get there and spoil.
If you're a Collingwood forward, you don't want the ball hung in your air as big sources around. That's the last thing you want to happen. They have got a lot of the footy at the moment. Here's Zorko, left foot shot at goal. I don't think we'll carry the journey too big, gets back, but a bit of pressure applied, repeat inside 50s. And
can they take a couple of marks inside 50 in this last quarter? It'll be hard to get all these goals from play. They do need to get a couple of grabs in there as well. So haven't been able to do it all night.
Got in front of Grundy. Leuenberger working as well. Marley Williams tried to slap it forward, coming through Redden. Without the footy, Goldsack put his head over it. Adcock feigned for a free kick. Umpire not having a bar of it. Redden. Bodies crash in everywhere. There's a line down.
Christensen, it is. Looks like I hope he hasn't got a broken leg anyway, Das, but he's got it in the shin.
We'll come back and check that shortly. Varco has had a pretty polished night tonight. Varco gets it to centre wing.
No, he looks okay. For one moment, the way he was grimacing and holding that shin, I thought maybe the worst, but he's recovered very, very quickly, so he'll come and have a rest on the bench and get underway again as Travis Cloak launches a long ball inside 50. Grundy trying to get a run at it from the side. White was there at well. It spills to Blair. Across the face of goal. And out of bounds on the full. Christensen has recovered. And here is the knock he got.
Daniel. Right around here. Dan, back near the post. Thanks, mate. Yeah, he's level with me.
Looked in a little bit of trouble, but he's okay. So Daniel Rich from the back pocket. Just feel that Collingwood have cut the momentum a little bit of Brisbane here and just slowed them down and almost trying to turn the corner somewhat here. Tuvey. McGrath, nicknamed Sparrow. The boy from Kyabram via the Bendigo under-18s in his first game.
So Alan Christensen has a little spell. Appears to be okay.
Hold a metre.
And 29-point margin is what is in front of the Brisbane Lions. They've started to take the game on more. Little fumble there from Taylor Adams. Gets it back to Langdon. Kick forward to Lewis Taylor. And they're starting to have an impact on the game as well after a pretty quiet start.
Got to try and get the ball out to the other side of the ground here. He's found someone in the middle. That's great.
Great call from you, Richo. Great option from Martin. Now they've opened the game right up. It was a brave kick from Taylor with a wet footy to Adcock. Can he take Varco on? Handballs it to himself. Varco gives chase. Kept his feet, and then they both went to ground. Big footy to be won here. Green lends some support. So too Clark, the defender, and Grundy. And a boundary throw-in.
That's a win for Trav Varco and Collingwood, though. Adcock could have been out, could have got an entry into the Brisbane forward line on the open side of the ground. Instead, just slowing it up and waiting for the troops to arrive. Smart by Varco.
See Lepich and Buckley there. They've made their debuts in the same game on this night in round one in 1993, and they're now coaching their respective sides. By the way, the black armbands for Brisbane tonight being worn as a result of the passing, the very sad passing of Simon Black's father, Ray, during the week. Stephen Martin. Game on here at the Gabba. Great crowd, 31,500. Excellent. Footy's alive and well in Queensland. Here's Taylor. Pursued but not caught by Blair. Then he coughed it up a little. Now Blair gets a clean look up the wing. Good attempted smother there by McGrath. Or should I say Sparrow, as he's known to his mates. And he's got the hair, as Richo pointed out, all trimmed, especially for tonight.
It's a brave haircut for a debutant, isn't it?
It is indeed. You've got to perform.
They've got the real undercut going, and he's been impressive, Jaden McGrath, on debut tonight. They love him, the coaching staff at the Lions. He was a high draft pick. And he's really committed himself to his first game. Zorko tried to work his man Sinclair under the footy. Martin has been more of a permanent forward in the second half of this match. He could keep the footy in, gets up with a little limp.
I've liked this from Collingwood for the last 5 minutes or so. BT, you touched on it. They've just wrestled the game back into, well, almost a stalemate, a neutral situation. Instead of conceding a couple more goals, they're chewing up the clock. They've just got to hold strong now.
I like the move of Rich into the midfield too. Lingy's been permanent half-back, and the last call of Lepich has really released the reins a bit, that kick. Inaccurate.
Well, we spent a lot of the night, Das, talking about metres gained and how much of a weapon they are. He's leading the way, nearly 600 metres gained, far above anyone else on the field. So he has been really good. Get him up in the middle of the ground, he might get a few entries and kick a couple.
Out wide, crisp overhead. Pendlebury, even while being tackled, had great awareness to get it to crisp there. Here's White. Paparone did a pretty good job initially, and White won out in the end. Got Barco. He found some traffic. Now, can he get this ball to slide? He's just offline. He got it to slide straight, but unfortunately didn't direct it in the right area.
What I've liked tonight about Cloak and White is they may not have taken a heap of marks around the ground, but that one there with White, he kept it in front. It's been their second efforts at ground level. We saw a couple of great efforts by Cloak earlier in the game. Didn't take the mark, but followed up at ground level and kept at it, and that's really good from a key forward.
There's McGrath. Landed in the Langdon arms.
Next goal in this match is really interesting. Brisbane are able to get it back to 23 points. If you're at home and you're a Collingwood fan, you start getting a bit twitchy in your lounge chair.
15 seconds, he's having a shot.
And you probably think one the other way might be just one too far. Langdon pops it up into the dangerous spot. Cloak has to contend with three and rushed through for a minor score.
Just that pop-up kick, I reckon, just needed to be a little bit further out, about 15 metres out. It can be a little bit easy to rush through. as the Lions did on that occasion. It was the right idea, and no doubt about that, but just maybe about 15 metres out.
Adcock wanted Redden towards the boundary line. And
Brisbane!
Jack Redden.
And Sam Lane has been able to confirm for us as well that Tom Rockcliffe has gone to hospital, does, with those broken ribs.
Yeah, he looked in a lot of pain, didn't he, Tom Rockcliffe? So we hope that the diagnosis is good, but it did appear to be severe rib damage.
And he's hard, Tommy Rockcliffe. He was in massive pain.
Please. Just come out with me, Jack. Thank you. Time back on.
Free kick to Jack Redden. 112 games consecutive on debut until round 15 last year, where he had to miss with ankle surgery. They'll be enjoying him back out there tonight. Having to be brave through the corridor. Broken up, though, by Ramsey. And now this is Taylor Adams. Like this game tonight. Getting back there is Merritt. Opportunity now for Blair. Bit of space. He'll be dangerous. Blair kick around the body. Has he got the journey? A little too much on it. Again, Cloak contends with a couple. And it'll be the Lions through young James Aish who can rebound.
And they've got a bit of space on the outer side here as well, Brisbane. On the counter, here they go. Kick's got to be good in the middle. It wasn't. Cut off. Beautiful sliding attempt there by Tuvey.
They've got Christensen on his own inside 50 if they can get the footy back here.
Adams able to duck under that one. Get it back to Tuvey. He ran straight into that pulverising tackle of Mays, the sub who's been activated for Rockcliffe. Into Christensen. He wants to try and work Frost over at ground level. Frost did really well. The big against the little. Boy, Frost did well on that occasion. Christensen still going. Frost has got him. Good effort there by Frost. And wanting to just go on with it a little too.
Wasn't that a great effort by two players desperate to win the footy at ground level? Christensen did well against a bigger opponent, forced it to ground, but then Frost desperately followed up. Terrific contest.
1 goal in 11 minutes so far in this final quarter. What is going to crack? What is going to let go? Is it going to be Brisbane to continue the fight back, or Nathan Buckley steer Collingwood in the correct direction?
He really is just poised this game at the moment. The next goal, as we said, is going to be a big factor. The Lions find a way here. Leuenberger's back in the ruck, looking for Aish. Aish is having to work away from his own goal. There's the first game that George De Goey. He's already had a little feel of the footy. He'd like to get his hands on it again.
Brisbane need to try and get Dane Beams back into the game. Only the one touch this quarter, 25 for the match. 5 kicks, 20 handballs. That just says a little bit about the pressure he's been under. Hasn't been able to get any space tonight.
Yeah, his opponent there for most of the night's been Taylor Adams. This man here has had a massive influence. Been a great game from the former GWS Giant to Blair. Blair likes the option of White out the back. This is De Goey, the first gamer. The number 5 draft pick from last year. Out to Cloak. Oh, White. Lack of awareness. He almost got ankle tapped. Jesse White. Can Buick get it going the other way? Opens the door to Rich. You want the footy in this man's hands.
Boy, this will hurt if they can keep going from here, but I think they've made a bit of a mess of it. Well done, Nathan Brown, to just worry them here. Went and got it, Clark. Now Leuenberger, Taylor, Green, combined. He can have a ping from here. Green from 35. Hits the timber work. Boy.
He's had 4 opportunities to kick goals tonight, and he probably should have kicked 4 goals, Josh Green. That would have been a good night for a small forward.
Elliott's worked hard up the ground. Pendlebury, speaking of hard work, he knows no other way. The champ, 3rd best and fairest last year, 3 in the last 4 seasons. Just the poster boy for greatness in the AFL. Scotty Pendlebury on and off the field, pushing it back. Marco Pepperoni
to a right down there.
Collingwood are out on their feet here, guys. Marley Williams came off the bench, Crisp came off the bench, and both just a very, very slow jog, slowly making their way back into the defence. If Brisbane can kick one and they can keep running, these Collingwood players are cooked. Being the first game of the year, a lift in intensity always takes it out of you. They're struggling to run at the moment.
Plenty of time too, Lee. 29 points the margin. Redden's going to drive the Lions to the edge of 50.
Has been a fast track here. They really haven't trained. Only trained here for 2 weeks because of the World Cup cricket. So you would think it wouldn't be a heavy ground, although there's been a bit of rain. Here's Christensen, got the little right foot spanner working, and it was cut off in the end by Crisp.
And the humidity up here can get you. Obviously, you don't train it at all year round like the Brisbane Lions do.
So we've got a 28-point margin. We're at the 14-minute mark here of the final quarter. 10 or so minutes remaining. So Williams going down the line, as Lingy alluded to, looking a little tired at the moment, Collingwood. And that down the line was a sign of that. Even the umpire stretching up there, the boundary umpire doing a little calf stretch there as well. Big 10 minutes of footy coming up here for both sides. Both obviously desperate for the win. Collingwood have won 3 of their last 4 here at the Gabba. They travel and they play well.
Advantage, advantage, advantage.
You heard the umpire, it was clear. Here's Clay Beams from inside the centre square. A big ball, Green! Both Dukes on it. Free will go to Green.
Great effort. He was 3 on 1 there, Josh Green.
I think it was against Langdon. I'd like to see a replay of it. I think they're saying he took eyes off the ball, but didn't seem to be any complaints. So Green here to get it back to 22 points and a possibility for Brisbane.
They've now kicked the last 5 goals in the game, the Brisbane Lions, and they are right back in this contest. Lee at ground level says a lot of the runs coming from Brisbane. The Collingwood players look tired. So look out. Are we seeing something special here?
Oh, they're out. Boy.
Jackman.
Pretty reckless attempt there it was by Jesse White, taking a turn the centre bounce. Redden's got the free kick and they've got the run here.
Got overload too.
Clay Beams will get it. Is he going to try and take on the tackler? Yes, he steps back inside. He's got a short option. Oh, the lead comes out. May started as the sub. No free kick. Rich gets involved. Zorko, little underground ball to Christensen. He goes in and I think he'll get a free kick. Well, what about this? Alan Christensen, you can hear some unhappy Collingwood defenders. No free kick there for Mays. The umpire said play on. And this is the free kick, Richo. What do you think?
Just see what it's paid for here. Oh.
Well, in the meantime, Christensen stood up. He's kicked a goal. They've kicked 6 in a row. It's back to a margin now of just 16 points. Unbelievable scenes at the Gabba.
Have a look at that free kick again. There it is.
Well, yeah, the umpire's in great position.
Oh, yeah.
They've opened up the front of the goal square here, the Brisbane Lions.
Well, here they go again. Lingy, what do you do if you're Collingwood to stop this run? If there's anything you can do, what would it be?
Well, there's not a lot apart from winning the ball in the contest first and maybe gaining some possession of it, but Brisbane are all over them in that area. You could think about throwing someone behind the ball who can just stem the flow. But at the moment, Brisbane are running all over the top. They just need to fight it out, Collingwood. They need to take 3 or 4 minutes off the clock somehow by fighting and scrapping.
Well, they were 53 points down, and here they go inside 50 again. Swan just gets it out of the zone, over the line, and as Lingy said, if they can take a couple of minutes off here, what do you think, Richo?
Yeah, I mean, at that last centre square bounce, Justin Lepich had the whole centre half forward area clear. He had everyone back in the goal square. He's looking to just run it through centre half forward and kick goals on the run.
53 points it was after Blair kicked his 2nd goal in that 3rd quarter. It's now down to 16 points, and Brisbane again go inside 50. Here's the big fella, Leuenberger, gave it off to Green. Green goes to a 1-on-1. Inside 50 here again. Collingwood look a little uncertain. Varco's got to go. Boy, they've got heavy legs here at the moment. A little bit of a push on Zorko. Frost's in there. Ramsey just got rid of it the nick of 9. Tuvey went hard at the footy. Great result for the Collingwood fans here, but will it come back as Clark?
Bow Alan Tuvey, that is called body lining the ball. That was a 50-50 contest against another hard nut in Alan Christensen. That's where your leaders need to stand up. Well done, Alan Tuvey.
Yeah, it was a great play from that man on screen there, Alan Tuvey. BT said the 26-minute mark of the 3rd quarter, Collingwood by 53 points. The last 6 goals, Brisbane's way. And Josh Green, well, he thinks he's in range.
He's going to mark it here.
He's going to go back. He'll have to kick it 52 metres. Richo with a wet, heavy ball. It'll take his best.
Tough kick. He's given it off to the man who can kick it, though.
Rich lines up from 52. Don't worry about the distance. 7 in a row to the Lions. Unbelievable scenes. We're back to a 10-point ball game. 53-point margin it was. And the Lions are within 2 straight kicks.
Oh, he would be ropeable with that. If there's one man in this team who can kick a long ball from outside 50, it's Daniel Rich. He should never be allowed to get a handball received. Here, look at him. Give it to me. I can kick these.
He went up and begged for it, Richo.
But how could he do that? Oh, this is unbelievable.
Look at that. In the rain, Daniel Rich. Under 7 minutes remain in this game. And we've got a 10-point ball game here. What can Collingwood do to stop this incredible run of 7 consecutive goals from the Brisbane Lions? Grundy in the middle. Martin wins the clearance to centre half forward. Swan goes at it, got through traffic, immediately under pressure. Lingy mentioned about 10 minutes ago that he thought Collingwood might be just out of legs, and it's certainly appearing that way at the moment as Taylor back to Clay Beams. Beams puts it up, gives him a one-on-one chance inside 50. Langdon, beautiful spoil over the top to the boundary line.
Yeah, well done, Langdon, and the Pies have got a loose man back now. They just got to get their hands on the footy. They have not had any possession in the last 5 minutes. They've just got to get their hands on it and try and slow it down just for a minute.
Look at the numbers around the footy here. Inside forward 50 for the Brisbane Lions. Martin, Taylor Adams has had a big night. Lewis Taylor, he is working his heart out at the moment. The NAB Rising Star winner. Intercept from Elliott.
He's got nothing. He's got nothing. Das Merritt down the line.
So they're having to show some composure here. Goes back again to Elliott. Swan's had a big night. Oh. He wants the boundary line. In the end, he kept it in. Zorko gave chase. Well played, Swan. Good effort there from the first gamer in McGrath. Clark tries to step his way through.
Brisbane. Clark.
They've got nothing in their forward half, though, Collingwood at the moment, because Jesse White's gone behind the football.
There's the free kick over the shoulder of Justin Clark.
Under 6 minutes remain. Brisbane in driving rain forward again. Collingwood got some big numbers back here at the moment. Now an opportunity for Brisbane. 1-on-3. Zorko did well. Squeezed the handball. Dane Swan brilliant with the smother. Taylor Adams, great composure with the handball. Mitch Robertson tries to punch it to Taylor. Gets it there. He's able to get a clean look. Came back on the left. I'm not sure that was the right decision. And Taylor Adams.
Well done to McStay there to spoil that ball out. I thought touch chess mark. And they're not looking to score here, Collingwood. They can't even get the footy.
A 4-goal last quarter here for Brisbane. Collingwood yet to get one. Boundary throw in, Brisbane end of the ground. Collingwood supporters on their toes. Likewise, Brisbane here at the moment. Trying to burst his way through there was Adcock. A little tap, comes out towards the dangerous green. White got it to Tuvey. Tuvey's kick off the boot. They've got a 2-on-1 here, Collingwood. They should win it. Oh, the desperation of Brisbane was superb. Taylor Adams elected not to pick it up and get it out wide to the boundary line, and that's where it'll stay.
Well, that's a great result for Collingwood. The ball going out.
What a brilliant effort before from the defender Clark there, Richo.
Yeah.
Put his head over it. Look at the inside 50 count. It is all Brisbane. Kicked the last 7 goals. That is committing your body with great courage on the ground. Grundy, first hand on it. Zorko smashes in. Oh, well played, though. Good effort from the little man, Blair. 1-on-1. What can Fasolo do?
Hands in the back. Hands in the back.
Oh, that's a big win. You had Fasolo on Merritt, and Merritt had to halve that contest. He didn't need to do that, Daniel, unfortunately. He's given away a free kick. Great effort by Fasolo against a much bigger opponent.
15 seconds!
Huge win.
As you said, that is a massive win. Merritt had the strength advantage, had the size advantage. You just had to reach over and get the fist in. Fasolo, he's capable of doing this. He can launch a long footy. It won't make the journey. Numbers back there. There's Clark. What an impressive young player he is. And through for a minor score. 11 points the margin. And we are 4 minutes, 27 seconds remaining in this one.
Can they go coast to coast on a kick in here?
Well, Brisbane's setting up, Richo, for the one down the middle. They've got their big fellas look for the big one, but he's wrecked it up.
Yeah, I'm just wondering whether Alex Fasolo might have given the Grawn a bit of a tweak here, as well as Tom Langdon launches from 55. I tell you what, that's a handy point, because that makes it a 12-point ball game.
I'm not sure in these conditions, sorry, BT, that you'd be kicking a barrel out of fullback. I'll be going the drop punt.
Agree. Totally lingy.
Got to get a fast play on here. Well done.
Oh, Zorko's gone. Now he didn't dispose of it, and he's got him.
You played on, Gary. Stay back.
Pendlebury's out the other side of the ground here.
Umpire said he played on. Here is Pendlebury, that man you speak of, Richo. So this is good for the Pies, being able to take a couple of minutes off the clock here. Not so good for Brisbane. They need to get hold of the ball, Brisbane. Pendlebury's going to send it as long and deep as he can. He gives all the markers an opportunity. In front is Elliott, off hands, kept his feet. Elliott did really well. Hasn't got the footy, it's built free. Umpire said it was knocked out in the tackle, so that means play on. Now the ball's wide. Pendlebury spun out of traffic magnificently. Little ball along the ground. Here it comes to Taylor Adams. Kick across the goal was cut off by Rich, and Paparone on the run.
How good Pendlebury. You have to feel comfortable when he's got the footy in his hands. Langdon's been good in the last couple of minutes. They've been out of steady a bit. What can Langdon do? Looks for a target inside 50. Swan out the back. They're going to have to keep attacking here, the Lions, the first gamer. And Jaden McGrath.
Okay, yep.
Zorko had the right idea here to try and get it moving quickly. But Langdon, well done. Good awareness. They've just got to force the point here, Collingwood.
And likewise, the Lions have got to take a risk. Martin just tried to fist it forward. McStay came up at it. Marley Williams is going to work it back inside. Coming the other way, Tuvey.
You're right, Richo. Effectively, if they get a point, they can't lose it. I mean, they could draw it, but they can't lose it.
A point and they win the game.
So 2:53 remaining here. A 2-goal game. Slightly favouring the Collingwood end of the ground, although the boundary throw-in didn't help. Zorko trying to keep it alive here, Brisbane's way. Collingwood repel from half back now to Merritt. Picked it up beautifully in the hard conditions. Little handball to Beams. Beams slides it sideways to Paparone. Beams wanted him to go out to the fat side of the ground. He said, no, I'm going back to the traffic. And the ball over the line and out of bounds. A lot of players going down with cramp. You can see Jack Frost on the bench there.
Yeah, there's players stretching their calves everywhere.
2:27 remaining, 12-point lead, Collingwood.
Yeah, Zorko looks tired as well, feeling his legs. Taylor Adams had a great game, the best I've seen him for Collingwood. Can they be brave here, Brisbane? Clay Beams has got the right idea, taking the game on. He got dragged down from behind. All these little bits really count at the moment. Look at the effort. Bodies crashing in everywhere. Rich has been enormous in the last quarter. Out to Dane Beams. What can he do? Chase from Varco was good. To the goal square. This is May. Started as a sub. They did well, the Collingwood defence. The run and pick up was effective at half-back. This is Ramsey.
Well done.
He did really well.
And now the first game of DeGoey.
And they'll try and milk the clock here now. And they've got loose players, so they should be able to do it.
DeGoey goes wide to the boundary and finds Elliott, so that's a good play from him. So they've just found something in the last couple of minutes of this game. Collingwood here.
There's been a couple of great tackles and a bit of pressure from Collingwood when Brisbane looked to be getting out.
It was a rampaging Brisbane, and it still may well be. Buick's got the foot. He says, come at me. I'm on my left boot here. Kicks it down the line, and just getting a hand on the footy there was Mays.
Just lost a little bit of shape in the forward half at the moment, the Brisbane Lions. They need to regroup here, get some structure in front of the football, and if they can get a clearance, because at the moment Collingwood have got a good setup to defend this.
Players going down with cramp left, right and centre. Just shows you can't replicate the intensity of a real game in any of the practice games. Go nowhere near buttering up to what we're seeing here tonight. Soccer off the ground, mark taken by Sinclair. And Sinclair immediately clears the ball out wide. Finds an opportunity here with Langdon, who's been really good tonight.
There's a lot of guys that just can't run at the moment.
Marley Williams back with a flight. You can see Steph Martin's got the head bobbing up and down. Williams said, I'll take a piece of you. Varco's been good. Back to Marley Williams, clock down to 38 seconds. They'll be happy to concede a boundary throw in here, the Pies. Clark needs to keep it in. And that is a good result for the Magpies. They might just have run out of time here, Brisbane.
They did well, though, in the last 3 minutes, Collingwood, to hang in there, regroup, and hold off that Brisbane charge.
Yep, you've got to think that it's the Pies ball game here with only 30 seconds left. They are going to record their first victory of the year, and many thought that they would come to Brisbane and a revitalised Brisbane side would give them a little bit to think about for the year, but it's been the other way around. Green picks it up, gets it inside 50. So many Collingwood fans here at the Gabba tonight. A record for the last 4 years of 31,240. Many of them Collingwood fans, and they drag a big crowd wherever they play in the country, and tonight no exception. So Nathan Buckley will get his side off to a fine start here. Siren sounds. Collingwood have got Adelaide next week, but tonight at the Gabba they win in front of a fast finishing Brisbane Lions. Penalty there, a fine player. Jared Blair played well. Dane Swan. Cameron Ling is out in the middle. The rain is still falling. Lingy, down to you.
Well, Swanee, phew, it got a bit tense there at the end.
Yeah, mate, we were all knackered, mate. We were all looking to get off, but we knew they were going to come. They train in this heat all the time, and so we knew they'd be prepared for it. And thankfully, we had enough of a lead to hold on, mate. We're out on our feet, but somehow we managed to hold on. You really can't replicate the pressure of a real game of AFL footy in either training or the NAB Challenge, can you? It's just a step up in intensity. Yeah, absolutely not, mate. No matter how much you think you're prepared, once the first bounce goes to that first game, mate, you realise how hard it is and how fast it moves. So, not many people picked us tonight, so it was good to prove a couple wrong. Hopefully we can continue, the first 3 quarters of the form into the next couple of weeks. Was it a bit strange playing against Beamsy tonight? It was, mate. Caught up with him last night and had a chat, but it was a little bit weird. Had a bit of a laugh out there, but mate, we're both too knackered to say anything to each other, so we might catch up tonight and say hello. But it was good to see him. Disappointed he went, but that's what happens. Well done tonight, mate. You were sensational. Great.
Dane Swan there. Well, Brisbane have got North at Etihad Stadium next week, and Collingwood have got Adelaide at Etihad Stadium as well. So a good win for them in the end by 12 points.
It's interesting watching Still side bottom there. He's just protecting the right hand, shaking with the left at the moment. We'll get back down to Lingy, but we might get an update on that as well. Cameron Ling.
Well, Taylor Adams here, a very happy Taylor Adams, a very sweaty. It certainly is humid out here. It was hard at the end of the game there to keep running.
Yeah, absolutely. When I started coming back towards the end of that quarter, you had to find something, and it was, as you said, very hard. And the boys dug deep and were able to hold on. We were talking. We reckon the best game you've played for Collingwood so far. Did you feel like that? And it seemed to be a role on Dane Beams a bit, but also playing as a natural midfielder as well. You must have been pleased. Yeah, got the job on Beamsy tonight. Obviously a great player, and he had a really good NAB Cup series, so got the job on him. And to watch his tape and learn off him, a learning experience in itself. So it was great to get the win. As you said, tough conditions, but the win makes it all much better. It's a pretty special win, isn't it, to come up here, Brisbane with the more fancy team, given everything that's gone on at the club in the last couple of weeks, come up and get the win. It must be really proud of the boys. Yeah, absolutely. As you said, a tough week for the boys. Internally, we knew we were good enough to win. It was just a matter of putting our best footy forward, and we did that tonight and we're able to get away. Well done tonight, mate. Great job.
There you go. Taylor Adams at Collingwood after a short stint with the GWS.
They're my favourite interviews. First or second year player, he's had his best ever game, and he's excited, he's pumped up, and you tend to get the raw emotion, don't you?
Have a look at this. I mean, the Collingwood players going down to thank their fans. I was here at training yesterday. 500 people turned up to watch Collingwood. It was amazing, and they filled the stadium that night.
That's the strength of this football club. They can go interstate to any venue in Australia, and they get great support, and it makes travelling a little bit easier for them.
Yeah, it's an amazing group of supporters. They've got 80,000 members, and have a look. They were probably more vocal than the Brisbane supporters here tonight. They were getting stuck into Beamsy, and you've got to pay respect to that, don't you, to be able to fly around the country, and they just love this footy club, and they'd be pretty proud of that group tonight.
By the way, Brisbane up on their membership as well, I believe, up to almost 25,000, so they're a couple of thousand up on the same time last year with expectations high for them this year with the new players arriving. But it's interesting to hear Swanee say that they were just completely out on their feet. I mean, Lingy said it at about the right time when it really took effect.
And he noted that, you know, they knew that Brisbane would come. Brisbane train in this humidity all of the time. It has to be an advantage. But they held on. They looked gone, and there was plenty of time left, but they composed themselves in the last 4 minutes. A couple of sort of half tackles that dispossessed Brisbane players when they looked to be getting out. And that's a really good win. As we talked about, a lot of people had written Collingwood off in the last week, and to come up here and walk away 3 very good quarters, they'll be very happy.
Yeah, the man on screen there, Brodie Grundy, I thought he was the most influential player at the start of the game when they really needed him to stand up. They had to take on Leuenberger and Steph Martin, who potentially are a really hard ruck combination to combat. And Brodie Grundy won the day, and they'll enjoy this tonight, round 1 of the Easter weekend. Not going to be easy coming up here, and all smiles from a Collingwood perspective. There's Nathan Buckley, Gary Pert, the CEO. Interstate wins are hard to come by, and they'll be pretty proud of the group tonight. They held on in fine style. So we'll take our cameras right inside the inner sanctum here for you. Jordan De Goey, what a great moment for that young man on debut. You have to love that, don't you? It's what footy's all about. A first gamer, first time he gets involved with his new teammates. He'll be in the middle of this huddle. So it was Collingwood tonight. They held on by 12 points to get off to a good start in season 2015. Let's hear them sing a song. Celebrations for the Magpies tonight. They held on. It was a fast-finishing Brisbane Lions who kicked the last 4 goals of the game, but Collingwood prevail. 11-8-74 Brisbane. Collingwood 12-4-86, a 12-point margin. Stick with us in the post-game show. We'll give you all of the press conferences. We'll hear from Nathan Buckley. We'll cross to the other grounds as well. Lots coming up in the post-game show. The Magpies by 12 points here at the Gabba.